Say that to me if I wasn't wearing glasses.
You're not wearing glasses.
All the more shame to you, picking on a man that can't see his face and shrugs his hands.
Say, do you have any luck getting a job, Uncle Dennis?
Not a bit, not a bit. Here I am, tramping the streets from morning till night, just an honest man trying to pick up a couple of bucks, and what happened? Nothing. Why, one place they wouldn't even open the door and talk to me. I hammered on the door for 2 hours.
Oh, what place was that, you poor darling?
It was the fly swatter factory across the river.
They've been out of business for 2 years, and you knew it.
If they'd opened the door and listened to me, they'd be back in business. Had a great idea for them. 2 fly swatters for the price of 1. Use one in each hand. The fly can't watch both of them at once. Boom! You got
It seemed McGee with ideas like that, Uncle Dennis would be a success anywhere.
Where else did you try, Uncle?
Tried the airplane plant, too.
The airplane plant?
The
They've been
airplane.
advertising for help ever since Pearl Harbor. Didn't they have anything for you?
Of course they did. And you know what they wanted to pay? $60 a week and overtime.
What was the matter with that?
It's too much. I'm not with them. I told them that. They said I was a fool. I said I was that. They said I was too. I said I was that. And the battle was on. He led with his right.
Yes?
That's all. He connected. And I'll not work for a man that uses his fist on his employees.
The trouble with you is you're just lazy.
Step outside and say that.
We are outside.
Oh, so we are. Well, I'm not the one to be making a scene in a public place. I guess I'll be running along now. There's still time for a well-meaning man to pick up a couple of bucks. So, if you look at me, tramp in the street for a moment.
Poor Uncle Dennis, you know, he tries so hard.
He succeeds, too. The job hasn't caught up with him yet. Hey, we better get going. I don't know what time the recruitment office closes.
McGee, I wish you'd reconsider this thing. In the first place, you don't even know Anita Nizzi.
I don't have to know it. Any daughter of good old Fred is bound to be a fine woman. Just the type to be a wonderful whack officer. I can hardly wait to see the kid's face when I pin those oak leaves on her shoulder and say, "Well, Colonel, knit me."
Colonels have eagles on their shoulders.
Well, I can scare them away long enough to pin the oak leaves. Besides, if she's the...
Hello, folks. How you doing?
Oh, hello, Mr. Willcox. Well, McGee's on his way to the wax recruiting office.
To the wax recruiting office? You'll never get away with it, pal. They'll spot you for a man right away.
I'm not going on my own account, ignorance. I'm merely using my influence to get a friend of mine's daughter a commission.
Yeah, he claims it's all a matter of influence, Mr. Willcox, just because he knows a couple of aldermen.
I know more than just a couple of aldermen. I got wires right into the White House.
Yeah, he really has, Mr. Willcox. 2 shares of AT&T.
Look, pal, before you make a complete jump of yourself, don't start monkeying around with the Army. The WACs are part of the Army, you know. And they're slightly allergic to hotshot civilians messing up the details.
I know what I'm doing, Junior. I'm an old Army man myself.
Yeah. Remind me to show you a picture of him in his 1918 uniform, Mr. Willcox. It fits him like a glove.
Betcha.
A first baseman's glove.
That's neither here nor there.
And that's where it fits, too.
Look, Fibber.
Yeah?
I have a cousin who's a lieutenant in the WACs, and I happen to know you can't pull any wires or use any influence to get commissions. Promotions are strictly a matter of merit.
Don't be so under-sophisticated, Willcox. A drag is a drag, in or out of the Army.
Okay, pal, okay. Go ahead and stick your neck out. But I know my WACs.
Well, go ahead, Mr. Willcox. Get to it.
Get to what?
Get the what? Get the what? Get the what? What do you usually get to?
I don't know what you mean, Fibber. All I'm trying to say is that a woman who joins the WACs isn't subject to outside political pull. She's in the Army, and it's strictly up to her and the Army how far she rises in the ranks. And the smart woman can go far, just as a smart woman in civilian life finds out the best way to run a home.
Yeah? Go on.
Huh?
Go on. Get it over with.
Get what over with?
That rat of Willcox, quit stalling. We know you want to talk about what you want to talk about.
Look, pal, I was trying to be a right guy, you see? I was trying to show you I don't have to throw in a pitch for the product every time I open my mouth.
Well, we just thought...
So what happens? You won't let me be just a friend. No, you gotta force me to talk business.
Well, gee whiz, kid.
All right, so you asked for it. So Johnson's Wax does save hours of housekeeping by sealing surfaces against dust and dirt and damp.
All right.
So it's the finest product of its kind that money can buy. And most housewives know it, and I know it, and you know it. And doggone it, what if I am proud of it? Here we were talking on an entirely extraneous subject, and what happens? You gotta rip me into talking business. I think that's a pity.
My goodness, McGee, maybe he didn't intend to talk about it.
Don't worry, Racine don't send him that dough every week for reticence. He knows it. He's just a smart... Oh, hi, Doc.
Hello, McGee. Hello, Mrs. McGee.
Hello, Dr.
We
Gamble.
can't stop and bat the tat with you now, Doc. We've got to get down to the Army recruiting office. It's in the next block
The
here.
Army recruiting office.
Yep.
If they're letting the bars down that far, I'll tell my grandfather. He's been itching to get back in the Army ever since Bull Run. He's in better shape than you.
Well, it isn't on McGee's own account, Doctor. He's going to make some inquiries about the wax.
Yeah, he's going to get a commission.
Well, I'll bet Ovita Culpabi will be very, very unhappy about this. I knew the Army girdled the globe, but you've got a globe there that a GI girdle wouldn't come anywhere near covering.
I'm not joining the wax. I'm doing this for a friend of mine's daughter. I'm going to wangle her a captaincy or a colonelcy or a majorcy, see?
Yes. I've been trying to tell him he can't do it, Doctor. Am I right?
Certainly you're right. Now, look, my boy, nobody needs any drag to get into the wax. All she has to do is fill out an application. If she's qualified, she'll get in.
Sure, she'll get in as a doe private, but that ain't what
As a
I'm...
what, McGee?
A doe private. That's a female butt private. This is a different thing. This is a friend of mine's daughter, Doc. I owe it to him to get the kid a commission.
Oh, don't talk copyright, McGee. It'll take more than a two-bit city hall hanger on like you to get her a commission. The Army isn't taking superfluous advice from civilian fatheads.
Who's a civilian fathead?
Any civilian's a fathead who thinks he can kid the Army into commissioning a raw recruit.
Don't you call Fred Nittany's daughter a raw recruit. By
Oh,
George,
stop it, McGee. You're way out on a limb with this thing, and you know it.
I don't know it, and I took about all the kidding I'm going to took. One more smart crack out of you, Doc, and I'll forget you're 20 years older than I am, and I'll slap you so hard on the chops you couldn't get 2 red points for him.
You don't say. You make one pass at me, Moose Jaw, and you'll spend the next 3 months knitting an Afghan in the fracture ward.
Oh, we have an Afghan, Doctor. Let him make a sweater.
If there's going to be any knitting in the fracture ward, you pill-peddling palooka, it'll be between you and your bones. Just because you chiseled some small-time aspirin academy out of a medical degree, don't come to high and mighty me. Take your mail order stethoscope and go listen to a horse.
I am listening to a horse, you whinnying little sully slater. Of all the dumb animals I ever heard talk, you make less sense than a goose with a goiter. What else you do?
Okay, I will, and if you'll just tell us where to ship the body, I'll... Hey, what time is it?
4:45, dearie.
What time's the recruiting office closed?
5 o'clock.
Oh, thanks. My gosh, I didn't know it was so late. Well, come on, Molly. Well, I'll see you later, Doc, old man.
I'm going to the recruiting office myself, McGee. I'm the medical examiner for the wax.
Are you really, Doctor?
Well, come along then, Doc. Watch me get a commission for this friend of mine's daughter.
Yes, this I shall have to see.
The King's Men sing I've Got Sixpence.
I've got sixpence, jolly, jolly sixpence. I've got sixpence to last me all my life. I've got tuppence to spend and tuppence to lend and tuppence to send home to my wife. Lucky wife, no cares have I to grieve me. No pretty little girl to deceive me. I'm happy as a lark, believe me, as we go rolling, rolling home. I've got 4 pence, jolly, jolly 4 pence. I've got 4 pence to last me all my life. I've got tuppence to spend and tuppence to lend and no pence to send home to my wife. Poor wife, not a care have I to grieve me. No pretty little girl to deceive me. I'm happy as a lark, believe me. Rolling, rolling, rolling home. I've got tuppence, tuppence, jolly, jolly tuppence, tuppence. I've got tuppence to last me all my life. I've got tuppence to spend
Well, here we are, McGee, and 10 minutes to spare. Not that it'll take that long to find out you can't wangle a commission, as you call it.
We'll see, smart guy.
Come on, McGee, time's a wasting now.
Hello, Sergeant.
Good evening, Doctor. Could I do something for you?
Yes, you can tell these people something about the wax, if you will.
Certainly. Won't you sit down, please?
I'm making inquiries for a friend of mine's daughter, sis.
Call us Sergeant, my boy.
Yes, tell him something about the wax, Miss Sargent. I have an idea he doesn't realize some of the facts of your life.
In fact, Sergeant, he is laboring under the delusion that all you have to do to get a commission in the wax is to know the right people.
That's true in a way, but
What did I tell you? See?
the right people are the ones you meet in your 5 weeks of basic training. And then you may apply for officer candidate school, where you learn the right things to be an officer.
Oh, doesn't influence count for anything?
Oh, indeed it does.
You see, Doc? what
In
I'm-
the wax, you come under the influence of the best instructors the Army can supply. Furthermore, in a very short time, a whack is in finer health than she's ever experienced in civilian life. Her posture's better, and she has a new poise and assurance that will last her the rest of her life.
Then you don't think it's possible for somebody to get somebody a commission right off, huh?
Definitely not, madam.
Oh, no. I guess you're kind of naive, sis. Pull is pull wherever it is. I got an idea if I could get to some of your top people, I could do some finagling. Kind of lobby with hobby, if you get what I mean.
If you are referring to Colonel Hobby, sir,
Don't get upset, Sergeant. My friend here is one of those citizens who had a traffic ticket fixed once and got the idea that everybody can be bought. Tell him some more about the wax.
Yes, do. It's very interesting. You know, I'd like to join myself, but I'm afraid of guns. I guess I'm just naturally not a pistol-packing mom.
the wax are not a combat unit, madam. But for every woman who joins the wax, a man is free to move up to the front line.
Yeah, but what?
We need hundreds of thousands of women to join us, so our Army will be that much stronger. There are now 155 jobs a woman can do just as well or better than men. And the sooner those jobs are filled, the sooner we'll have the strength to end the war.
Yeah, but about getting the commission,
Work to
Sergeant.
receive regular Army pay and all the extra benefits that regular Army men do.
Yeah, but
A private receives $50 a month, free and clear of all her expenses, which is a great deal more than most of them ever have left at the end of the month in civil life.
Oh, for instance, if this friend of mine's daughter only got to be a captain right off the bat...
How many times do you have to be told your friend will have to earn a commission?
Pipe down, Doctor. Now, look, sis. Here's what I want you to do, see? Get in touch with a few of the gals at the top, see? Tell them if they can swing a commission for this friend of mine, his daughter. I'm in a position to get a few favors at the city hall, see? Square deal all around.
Just a moment, sir. You don't seem to realize that what you are proposing is tantamount to bribery.
Tantamount had nothing to do with it. I did tell a few guys from RKO, but they don't know.
I must inform you that an attempt to use undue influence on an officer of the United States Army is a federal offense, and in wartime approaches the crime of treason.
This is what I came to see. Carry on, Sergeant.
Now, wait a minute, sis. You don't seem to realize who you're talking to. I'm Fibber McGee, and I'm one of the biggest...
Who did you say?
Fibber McGee.
He's one of the biggest.
Why, I've often heard my father speak of you, Mr. McGee.
Oh, you have, huh? Local guy, your old man?
No, Stark Rock, Illinois, Mr. Fred Nitney.
Heavenly days, are you Anita Nitney?
Yes, madam.
Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle.
Your genealogy is beside the point, Mr. McGee. And I owe you an apology.
You owe him an apology.
Yes. My father gave me a letter to mail to him 6 months ago, and I just found it yesterday in the bottom of my suitcase. I hope you got it. Now, I'm very sorry, Mr. McGee, but if you'll excuse me, it's time to close the office.
That's quite all right, dearie. I'm sure.
And we want you to come up the house some night, sis, and we'll give your old man a good kicking around.
Yeah.
Good old Fred. Why to think that...
Good night, Mr. McGee. Good night, Doctor.
Oh, my gosh, you're putting her almost through us out. Fred Nitney's kid throwing me out of her office. Why, that'd break Fred's heart if he knew it.
You're just lucky she didn't throw you into Leavenworth, my boy.
Aren't you a little ashamed of trying to be a big shot, McGee?
On the contrary, you ought to congratulate me.
Congratulate you for what?
In all my Army experience, this is the first time I ever argued with a sergeant and didn't wind up peeling potatoes.
Most of you have linoleum floor coverings in your kitchens. Many of you also have gay patterns of linoleum in your entrance halls or on your bathroom floors. Now, if you're not protecting these linoleum surfaces, let me add a word of caution. Don't clean them by the old-fashioned scrubbing method. Linoleum manufacturers themselves and housekeeping institutes recommend that linoleum floors be protected and maintained by a polish like Johnson's Glow Coat. Chances are you'll find that many of your neighbors are already using Glow Coat on their own floors. They'll tell you that there's practically no work to it because Glow Coat is self-polishing. It needs no rubbing or buffing. You simply apply and let dry. I'm sure they'll also tell you that Glow Coat makes their floors sparkle with beauty. Easy to clean because spilled things are wiped up in a jiffy. And for your own information, the regular use of Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat actually makes linoleum last 6 to 10 times longer. Now, that isn't hay, is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, or I should say just ladies, if you're between 20 and 50, in good health, are an American citizen, and think you can pass the mental alertness test equivalent to 2 years of high school, the wax needs you. You can get all the information you want at any Army recruiting station. So if you want to do a great job for Uncle Sam now, and make a fine one for yourself after the war, fill out an application tomorrow.
That's right. The Army needs your skill. Remember, a wax with an axe can really back the attack.
Good night.
Good night, all.
This is Harlow Willcox speaking for the makers of Johnson Wax Finishes for Home and Industry, inviting you to be with us again next Tuesday night. Good night. This program has reached you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company. The Johnson Wax Program with Fibber McGee and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax, Johnson's Far New, and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber McGee and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. One of the really important extra uses for Johnson's Wax is the protection of leather. Hardly a day goes by without somebody writing us that they've just discovered how useful wax is for their luggage, belts, purses, and shoes. We get this same story today from war workers and from men in service. A girl in a war plant writes, I am among the thousands of women who are doing a man-sized job of running a machine in the war plant. Our leather shoes protect us against foot injury, and to protect the shoe leather against wear, we wax our shoes with Johnson's Wax. Another letter from 3 members of a glider crew reads as follows. The boys in our outfit have had trouble keeping their GI shoes shined and water repellent. One day, we put a coat of your Johnson's paste wax on our shoes. It not only shined them, but helped to keep them dry. Now we just brush them off, and the shine is restored. I've read you these letters simply as a reminder not to forget your leather articles next time you're using your Johnson's Wax. Well, October 19th, 1943 has finally arrived, and the Squire of 79 Wistful Vista is wild with joy. Ah, happy day, the ecstasy of it all, the happiness, the cheer, and the jolly old gladness of it. To think that for 7 whole years now. Oh, but listen to Fibber McGee and Molly.
I made it. You hear that, Molly? I made it. I'm alive and healthy. Now for a clean, fresh start. Woo-hoo! Yahweh! I'm a new man.
When you stop dancing that Peoria minuet and quit hooping around like it's rousing Comanche, you might explain all this exuberance.
What? You mean you don't know what day this is?
Well, aside from Tuesday, October 19th, 1943, no.
Oh, Molly. This is my day of liberation. I'm free.
From what?
From bad luck. Don't you remember what happened on October 19th, 1936?
No.
That's the day I busted the mirror.
Oh, dear.
My 7 years bad luck are over. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. This calls for a drink. This calls for a drink. We got any root beer? I says, we got any root beer? Molly, what do you look at me like that for? I never drink a whole bottle.
Well, I wasn't worried about that, dearie. I was just going to ask you to do something for me, but now...
Oh, come on, ask me anything. You've been through this 7 years, too, and you've been a good kid about it, too. I'll do anything. Anything.
Really?
Absolutely. Why, I'm so darn happy I was even content with the world when I finished reading Pegleg this morning. Come on, baby, what do you want me to do?
Well, you won't like it.
I'll love it, whatever it is. From now on, I fear nothing. Fearless Fibber, finally freed from a fate fraught with foul and peaty standards, finally finished with fanciful fretting over fantastic. What do you want me to do?
Carry the hall mirror downtown and have it resilvered.
Carry the mirror? Oh, Molly. My wife. On this of all days.
Oh, listen, don't be so superstitious. People don't believe in that 7 years bad luck business. There's nothing to it.
Oh, they don't, isn't there? Well, I know that. Besides, the hall mirror don't need to be reslivered.
Resilvered. And yes, it does now.
Hmm?
You know, you were asking me just the other day why it was you always had freckles in the hall that went away in the basket. Besides, now, what's the dangerous about carrying a small mirror downtown?
What's dangerous? Walk clear across town with a mirror? Through all that traffic and stuff? Why, Molly, you know what a stumblebum I am. Gee whiz, I trip over a loud pattern in a carpet. Anyway, maybe the mirror shop isn't open, maybe, I hope.
Well, why shouldn't they be?
Well, I don't know, but maybe they're not. I'll check. Give me the phone.
Here.
Thanks. Hello, operator. Give me the Here's Looking at Your Mirror Company. It's on the corner of 14th and... Oh, is that you, Mert?
Oh, dear.
How's every little thing, Mert? What's that, Mert? Oh, I don't know, Mert. My gosh, if 3 terms have been so tough on him, he certainly won't want a 4th.
McGee, what on earth are you...
Mert's kid brother. Looks like he's due for a 4th term in the 3rd grade. What's that, Mert? Oh, well, thanks, Mert. Line's busy.
If the line's busy, there must be somebody there. Now get your hat on.
Oh, but Molly, please, why does the mirror have to be reslivered?
Silver.
Yes, but why today? What's all the rush?
Well, it's for the new roomer, Alice Darling. I promised her a better mirror in her room.
Oh, Alice, darling, darling, darling. That kid is disrupting the whole household. Why, every time the phone rings. Hello, she's asleep. Who is it? Okay, Buzz. See what I mean? If that kid don't...
Now, look, McGee, when you take the mirror downtown, I'll go with you. I have to go to the beauty shop.
Molly, why do... Okay. I got it. Where is the mirror?
It's tied up with brown paper in the hall. I was going to ask you to take the coffee tray, too, and have some new handles put on it, but as long as it frightens you so much to carry the mirror, why... Ah, hello, Alice, dear.
Hello, Mrs. McGee and Mr. McGee. I just woke up and wondered if there were any phone calls for me.
Now, you got a buzz from a guy by the same name, Alice. Anybody else, Molly?
Well, your father called, Alice, and said that he didn't think setting diamonds in your factory identification badge was a very good idea for Christmas. But, what else did you want?
Oh, thank you ever so much. I do hope I'm not a terrible old bother to you.
Oh, not at all, kid, not at all. I rather enjoy leaping up 7 or 8 times from the breakfast table to take your phone call. Gives my toast a chance to cool off.
Oh, Mr. McGee, you're just an old peach. Just a fuzzy little wuzzy old peach.
Oh, sure.
Was there any mail for me?
Well, only a few letters.
And a postcard from a guy named Oscar.
Oh, yes, Oscar. Oscar and I went to riveting school together. He was voted the boy most likely to.
Most likely to what?
Well, I don't remember really, but Oscar was likely to do most anything. We broke off when I started going with Miller.
Mal?
Yes, but that's all over now, too. Miller had such a terrible temper that I don't see why a girl should tie herself up to a fella that he's always flying off into simply a rage, my dear. Even though it was more or less my fault that I left my blowtorch on his chair.
Why, you left a blowtorch on the man's chair?
Bet that made him hot under the collar.
Oh, yes, way under. Did I show you my silver cup that I won at the plant last week?
Oh, isn't that lovely? How'd you win it, Alice?
Oh, the boys in the welding section voted me the girl they'd most like to be welded into a self-sealing gas tank with of 1943. Wasn't that sweet? Carl, he's the foreman. He presented it to me before he got transferred to the riveting department.
Cupid must have a tough time keeping up with you with a bow and arrow, sis. What he needs is a Tommy gun.
Oh, I never see Tommy anymore. He got fired out of the riveting department on account of too many bombers were coming off the line with I Love Alice spelled out in rivets on the wing.
How romantic. You know, the best McGee ever did was to carve our names in a heart on the bandstand at the park. And even then he gave himself top billing.
Along with that billing, Mrs. McGee, I was doing some top cooing, too. Excuse me, Alice, if I don't seem to be able to keep up with your throbbing heart, but who's the high Crosley Romeo at the moment?
Oh, I thought you knew, Mr. McGee. It's Raymond. He's the architect.
Oh, yeah.
Though I don't think I'll be seeing much more of him. On account of he's an older man, and he keeps saying he feels like a father to me. And whenever a man says he feels like a father to a girl, she better check up and see if the powder room has an outside exit.
Well, I guess we don't have to worry about you, Alice. You seem to recognize all the wolf traps.
Yes, but Raymond really is sweet and so sentimental. He even carves my initials and the date we met on the cornerstone of every building he builds.
He does?
Yes, A.D. 1943. Well, I guess I'll go to bed now. Nighty-night.
Good morning.
Pip, pip.
Billy Mills and the orchestra play They're Either Too Young or Too Old.
Walk so close to me, Molly. You might nudge me and make me drop this mirror.
Oh, don't be such a scaredy cat. I never realized before what a superstitious man you were, dearie.
I'm not superstitious. I'm just careful.
Don't give me that, McGee. You knock wood so often you've got knuckles like a third-rate prize fighter. I never knew a man who...
Hello there, McGee. Hello, Mrs. McGee.
Hello, Dr. Gamble.
Don't get too close to me, Doc. I got a mirror here, and I don't want to drop it.
I don't know why a mirror should be so precious to you, McGee. I've seen better-looking faces than yours peering in my window on Halloween.
Well, it isn't that he's vain, Doctor. He's afraid he'll break it and have 7 years bad luck.
Yeah, I broke one once just 7 years ago today, Doc, and I don't want to start things all over again.
Superstitions like that are pure ignorance, my boy. It's a wonder to me you don't carry the left hind foot of a graveyard rabbit. What's the matter?
He does.
Well, my gosh, I can't help it if I'm cynical about things. I got no illusions. I had some great sorrows in my life, starting when I was 9 years old.
What terrible grief did you have at the age of 9, if you can bear to tell us?
Well, it was terrible, Doctor. I worked in slave, selling Larkin products from door to door. Mowing lawns and carrying papers and taking care of horses. until I had enough to buy an English bulldog. And after I got him, you know what broke my heart?
What?
He couldn't speak a word of English.
You just went to the wrong pet shop, McGee. I have an Irish setter once that barked with a brogue. Don't worry. Don't worry about a broken mirror bringing you bad luck. If you believe that, you got the mental rating of an underprivileged Hottentot.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
Well, just because you apple-polished your way through a Corn Belt Cow College and learned to diagnose a broken leg, don't mean you're any giant intellect yourself, you fine feathered capsule collector.
Now, boy,
Why, you suspicious little peasant, I'll have you know I graduated from one of the finest universities in the world, magna cum laude.
Magna cum laude. There isn't any college by that name, and you know it. You big fat phony.
Now listen, dearie. Magna cum laude isn't the name of a school. It's Latin and means the doctor graduated with the highest honor.
The only way that guy could get a sheepskin would be to steal a sheep and skin it himself.
Well, at least I learned to distinguish a sheep from a goat, my illiterate little friend. So let's have lunch on a can of beans one of these days. I'll eat the beans and you eat the can.
Bye, doctor.
Why, that pompous old bone bender. I got a good notion.
Oh, now stop it, McGee. I don't know why you always have to fight with everybody. Didn't you ever have a friend you got along with?
Sure I did. Old Fred Nittany from Starved Rock, Illinois. Me and Fred were the best of pals. What was mine was Fred's, and what was Fred's was mine. Only he never had anything I wanted. I mind one time in Shingle House,
Oh, come
Pennsylvania.
on, McGee. Here's our chance to get across the street. Hardly any traffic now. Hurry up. Walk a little faster. The light will change before we get across.
I'm not hurrying for anybody today, baby, and if anybody... Oh.
Come on, McGee. What's the matter?
I got my foot caught in the car track.
Oh, dear. Wiggle your foot, dearie. Wiggle your foot.
I am wiggling my foot. Scratching my heel with my toe. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, drive around us, you big Lugan. Can't you see the man stop? Why don't you take your shoe off, dearie?
I can't. I was so afraid I'd trip over my shoelaces, I tied them in a tight knot before I left home. It's a fine state of how do you do.
Oh, my.
Stand in front of me, Molly, so if a car hits us, it won't break the mirror.
This is the first time I ever ran interference for a looking glass. Are you getting loose, dearie?
I can't tell. My foot's going to sleep. Is there a streetcar coming?
No, nothing but trucks and cars and motorcycles and moving vans and trivial things like that. Oh, dear.
Pipe down, will you? I think this is a publicity
Try
stunt.
and wiggle loose, McGee. Try. Oh, there goes Mr. Willcox. Maybe he can help us. Yoo-hoo, Mr. Willcox.
Hey, Junior, come here a minute.
Hello, Molly. Hello, pal. What are you doing?
Well, believe it or not, we're waiting for a streetcar to run over McGee.
Don't stand there like a mug, Junior. Do something. I got my foot caught in the car track.
Been wiggling it?
Why, certainly he's been wiggling it. He's invented some steps that would make Fred a cry in his buttermilk.
Well, that's what he shouldn't do. Increases the circulation. It makes the foot swell. Take it easy a few minutes, pal. It'll come loose.
What do you mean, take it easy? Suppose a streetcar comes along. You look pretty foolish trying to scrape up an acquaintance that you've known for 9 years.
Don't talk like that, darling. And do what Mr. Willcox says. Stop jerking your foot now.
Hey, have we known each other for 9 years, pal? Gee, time certainly flies, doesn't it? Been a lot of water under the bridge, blow coat over the linoleum and all that time, hasn't there?
Never mind the tender reminiscences, Willcox. Keep your eye peeled for a streetcar. And Molly, if one comes, grab this mirror and run like a rabbit.
Okay, I'll...
Gee, just imagine us being together for 9 years.
Looks like we'd be standing here in the street for the next 9, too.
9 years of telling people how Johnson's self-polishing blow coat preserves and beautifies linoleum surfaces. Imagine that.
Look, Junior, here I am up to my hips in car tracks, and you're...
9 years telling the public about immaculate housekeeping. Why, just think of the thousands, tens of thousands of housewives who have learned that glow coat brings out the original pattern and luster of linoleum.
My ankle's all swollen up now.
How it makes it so easy to wipe spots and spatters off with a damp cloth.
Try sliding your foot along the track, McGee. If we're lucky, we'll wind up at the car barn.
Won't budge an inch. I've tried everywhere.
I can't get over it, pal. 9 years of telling women how easy Johnson's self-polishing blow coat is to apply.
Swelling's way up my leg now.
Now you just pour out a few drops and spread it around, wait 20 minutes for it to dry, and presto!
Feel it way over the other way.
A floor of sparkling beauty, protected against dirt and dampness. Try to pull it loose now, Fibber.
Oh, are you back from Racine?
Listen, do what he says, McGee. Pull hard now.
Ooh! Ah, it's out. Okay, now, one on each side of it. I gotta get to the other curb safe.
All right, here we go. Take it easy.
Oh, dear. Thank goodness we made it.
Okay now, pal?
Yeah, thanks, Junior. Well, I must say you were pretty callous about me getting run over by a streetcar. It was only my good luck that one didn't come along.
Your good luck, plus the fact that this car line was abandoned 4 years ago. Well, I'll see you later, folks.
Why didn't he tell us that in the first place, McGee?
You know darn well why he didn't. He's going to get that pitch in there no matter who gets mangled. Well, let's get going.
Where is the, here's looking at your mirror shop, McGee?
14th and Oak, right across from... Oh, my gosh, look who's here.
Hi, mister.
Hi, sis. I haven't got time to stop and punch the bag with you now. I got to get this mirror down to the mirror shop.
Yes, it's almost closing time, too, dear.
Besides, what are you doing wandering around the streets like this, sis?
Well, I've been to the library.
Oh.
I just took a book back, and gee, was it ever a dandy one, I bet you.
You quite a reader, sis?
Sure I am, I bet you. I like love stories best, though, I guess.
Love stories?
At your age?
What particular romance has stimulated your eager little interest of recent days, sis?
Well,
I says, what kiss and tell opera has knocked you for a loop lately?
Oh, what love story you mean, huh? Well, I guess Goldilocks and the Three Bears, I guess.
You call that a love story?
Sure. Boy, did that kid love soup. First she ate the Papa Bear soup, and then she ate the Mama Bear soup.
Yes.
Yeah, we know the story, dear. And if you'll excuse me, we've got to be going.
Yeah, we got to take this mirror down.
Well, I gotta be going too, I guess. Mama says if I get home early, I can help cook the dinner.
You help cook dinner?
You let the child your age fuss around the stove?
Why, that's not a very good thing to do.
Sure. I'm gonna be a pastry cook when I grow up, too, I bet you. I made a dandy recipe for chicken noodle flan.
You did, huh? I says you did.
I know it. I took a big camisole.
Casserole. Skip it.
You can't. A frying pan isn't big enough. I took a big camisole and I put in a layer of chicken and then a layer of noodles and a layer of chicken and then a layer of noodles and a layer of chicken and a layer of noodles and a layer of chicken and a layer of noodles.
Well, how'd it turn out?
I don't know, mister. By that time it was piled so high I couldn't get it in the oven.
The King's Men and the Infantry Song.
What do you do with the infantry? You march, you march, you march. What do you do when your pack has got your back is stiff to start? There's many a fall of the cavalry, but never a fall of heart. And what do you do in the infantry? You march, you march, you march. What do you do in the infantry? You hike, you hike, you hike. What do you do in the infantry? You left and right or bite. The son of a gun in the signal corps is traveling on a bike. And what do you do in the infantry? You hike, you hike, you hike. The hard way, the hard way. Sweat until you get there the hard way. What do you do in the infantry? You win, you win, you win. What do you do in the infantry? You move into Berlin. The rest of the army is riding, riding through a triumphal arch. And what do you do in the infantry? You march. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. What do you do in the infantry, brother? You make a lot of tracks. Climbing or waiting, you're always parading, you never can relax. You're always starting for somewhere else, and nobody knows where you're starting for. Left about pace, right about pace, what the hell are we marching for? What do you do in the infantry? You win, you win, you win! What do you do in the infantry? You move into Berlin! The rest of the army is riding, riding to a triumphal arch. But what do you do in the infantry, brother? You keep right on doing the same as you're doing. You march! 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You march, 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 march.
We gotta get this mirror to that mirror shop and get rid of it. We only got a block to go, but anything can happen in a block.
Oh, for goodness sakes. I never knew anyone to take on so about breaking a mirror.
Well, 7 years more of bad luck is no joke at my age. I'm no kid anymore, you know.
Well, today you've been acting more juvenile than ever. Look out, McGee.
Doggone it, Bud, why don't you look where you're...
Oh, McGee, it's Uncle Dennis. Hello, Uncle Dennis.
Well, hello there, Molly and Lucretia, and Fibber. How are you, lad?
A lot you care. Almost knocked me down, me carrying a mirror. I thought you went out to look for a job. Judging from your happy expression, you didn't find one.
Well, I almost got one. The shipyard, but they insulted me.
Did they really, Uncle Dennis?
They did and did. Or they didn't indeed. They asked me what kind of work I wanted. I says anything. I says just so as an honest man can pick up a couple of bucks. And they offered me a job blowing the big whistle at noon and at 5 o'clock.
What's so insulting about that?
And how would I know when it was noon and when it was 5 o'clock?
Well, you merely have to watch the clock.
Oh, there you are. When I work, I never watch the clock. And if I never watched the clock, I wouldn't know when to blow the whistle. So what would happen? They'd fire me, so I beat them to it. I wouldn't take the job.
The trouble with you, Uncle, is you're allergic to work. To you, perspiration is merely what rolls down the side of a glass of ice water.
Why, you wouldn't dare say that if I didn't have my hands in my pocket.
Well, take them out of your pocket.
Can't. My suspenders are busted.
Well, I'm sorry you didn't have any luck today, Uncle Dennis. But something will turn up.
Lots of things will turn up, including the noses of every employment agency in town.
Oh, I'll find something. All I want to do is pick up a couple of bucks and... If they said I'm not willing to start at the bottom, because I'm not. I'm the executive type. I like to take 3 hours for lunch, and how can you eat out of a lunch basket for 3 hours? I couldn't carry that big a bucket, and you know it. You know I got a bad back.
Yeah, you sprained your back putting up in front.
Take off your coat, McGee.
What for?
I'd like to try it on. Maybe if I was better dressed, I could get a job and pick up a couple of bucks. Well, never mind. I like mine better. Well, excuse me now. I've got to go see the park superintendent. I hear they need somebody to feed the ducks.
Yeah, but Uncle Dennis, winter's almost here and the ducks will go south.
Oh, that's all right. I'm free to travel. I'll see you later.
Poor Uncle Dennis.
Poor Uncle Dennis, my class. That mug ought to get a job in a Turkish bath. Give him a chance to sponge off somebody besides his relatives.
Listen, he's not lazy, McGee. Doesn't he offer to help you with the dishes almost every night?
Sure, every night since we've been using paper plates. Hey, here's the mirror shop. Now I can get rid of this 7-year hoodoo. Open the door for me, will you, Mom?
Okay, dearie. Oh, my goodness, McGee. If you're so fearful of one mirror, you ought to own a place like this. Look, there's dozens of them.
Yeah, I could see myself working in here.
Yeah, you certainly could. Anywhere you look.
What can I do for you?
Now, here's a mirror for you to fix for, sis. We need to have it re-slivered.
Refiltered.
Here, take it. Oh, boy, what a relief. Sure glad to get that off my hands.
When can we get it back, miss?
Just a moment till I unwrap it, madam, and see what shape it's in. I mean, what condition, sir? You want this refilled? Haven't you made some mistake?
Mistake? No, I don't. Why, McGee, this isn't the mirror. This is the coffee tray. You picked up the wrong package in the hall.
You mean I risked my life and limb and worried myself? You mean I wasn't... Oh, my God. Oh, my gosh, let me lean against something.
No, don't lean against that.
How many did I bust?
9.
9 mirrors. 7 times 9 is 63. 63 years of bad luck. Ah, boy, if that ain't it.
I fail to see anything amusing in the situation, sir.
Yeah, what's so funny, McGee?
63 years of bad luck. It's impossible. I won't even live that long.
It's no wonder poets and songwriters go a little daffy over the warm, rich colors of October foliage. Wouldn't it be nice if we could preserve these beautiful colors over the winter? Well, you can capture some of that beauty if you'll keep your linoleum floors protected regularly with Johnson's Glow Coat. I've seen old pieces of linoleum that had lost their brightness brought back to life with Glow Coat. and lots of other kitchen floors that look just as fresh and new today as the day they were put down. When you protect your linoleum with Glow Coat, you not only keep the colors bright, you make the linoleum last 6 to 10 times longer. And you save yourself hours of work in the bargain because Glow Coat is so easy to use. Its self-polishing needs no rubbing or buffing. You simply apply and let dry. If you have any floors made of asphalt tile or rubber tile, you'll find Johnson's Glow Coat is the ideal floor polish for them, too.
Oh, McGee, Uncle Dennis just came home, and you know what? He missed landing a job by 5 minutes.
Well, as the fireman said when he looked at the little iron ladder, that's a very narrow escape. What kind of a job was it?
Department store Santa Claus, but he said it's just as well.
Why?
He said he didn't have the stomach for it.
He may not have the stomach, but he's got plenty of...
McGee.
Oh.
Good night, all.
This is Harlow Willcox speaking for the makers of Johnson Wax products for home and industry, inviting you all to join us again next week at the same time. Good night. This program came to you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
This is Chicago, WMAQ. This is Chicago, WMAQ.
The Johnson Wax program with Fibber McGee and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax, Johnson's Car New, and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber McGee and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with music by the Kingsmen and Billy Mills Orchestra. While you're doing your house cleaning, I'm sure you don't say to yourself, I'm doing this so my family will have a clean, sanitary home to live in. And yet that thought is undoubtedly in the back of your mind all the time. And I'm sure that's one of the reasons so many women have adopted the wax method of housekeeping. A waxed home is a clean home, and a clean home is sanitary and healthy. It's easier to keep out dust and dirt when floors, furniture, and woodwork are regularly protected with a gleaming coat of Johnson's Wax. All of these surfaces can be kept dirt-free with a great saving of time and work. Of course, it is true that the primary function of wax is to protect these surfaces against wear as well as against dirt. And it's also true that nothing gives greater charm and beauty than the polished surfaces that you'll find in every home that's protected and kept clean and sanitary with the regular use of genuine Johnson's Wax, paste, liquid, or cream. Havana is noted for 3 exports: rum, the rumba, and good cigars. The squire of 79 Wistful Vista doesn't care for rum. His hips aren't geared for the rumba. But a good cigar, just sniff the air as we meet Fibber McGee and Molly.
Boy, take a look at that cigar, Molly. Ain't that a beaut?
What's so beautiful about it?
Well, the color, for one thing, and the fragrance. Boy, if you could bottle that like perfume, you'd have every guy over 20 in the country dabbing it behind his ears.
In the country, yes. The air is fresher out there.
Isn't often I get my clutches on a gorgeous hunk of tobacco like this, baby. 40 cents a copy for cigars is a little rich for my plasma.
Well, who on earth is foolish enough to spend 40 cents on a potential pile of ashes and give it away after he got it?
Mr. France, the ticket agent of the Santa Fe's wife, just had a baby.
Oh.
So France is handing out the smokes.
Well, is it a boy or a girl?
Girl. Colorado Clara, one of the finest cigars.
No. I don't mean the cigar, I mean Mr. Francis' baby.
Oh, I don't know. I forgot to ask. Gee, I almost hate to light this cigar, you know what?
I almost hate to have you. But I can always start cooking something with onions. Sort of start a backfire, as it were.
Don't worry about this cigar smelling up the house, kid. This will be like squirting Christmas night around with a fly spray. Got a match, pal?
Right beside you on the smoking stand.
Oh, yeah.
Or you could hold it out the window and wait for lightning to strike it.
Too late in the year for lightning. Well, here goes. Wonderful. Ooh, oh, boy. Stick around, Molly, and get a few whiffs of what a really good cigar ought to smell like. Pull up a chair.
If I followed my instincts, I'd pull up a window. You know, the last time you smoked a gift cigar, the draperies faded, the goldfish died, and Mrs. Roosevelt left the country?
Well, it ain't often a guy gives me a heater like this one. Boy, look at the texture of that smoke. That's quality.
Heavenly days, if the smoke from a cigar makes you this happy, maybe... Come in.
Hello, Mrs. McGee. Hello, McGee.
Hello, Dr. Gamble.
Hi, Doc, old sock. Have a chair, and we'll swap lies about where to go and get a good T-bone steak.
I'm awfully careful where I buy my meat these days. Had a steak the other night that shied at my napkin. Made me a little suspicious. Pardon me, but is there a feather bed on fire around here?
That's McGee's cigar, Doctor. A proud father gave it to him, and I'm awfully happy it wasn't twins.
What brand of rhubarb is that, McGee?
What do you mean, rhubarb? This is a genuine Pomona Bologna.
Don't you mean a Kelowna? Smells like somebody's mustache was burning.
It's probably the kind your patients send you on Christmas instead of paying their bills, Doctor, huh?
Oh, yeah? Well, this is a 40-cent cigar if it's a cent.
And it's certainly that. Tell you what you better do, Mrs. McGee, until the government issues gas masks. You better wrap yourself in blankets, put a damp cloth over your face, open all the windows, and if you see any mice running out of the house, you go too. Animals have an instinct for impending danger.
Oh, yeah?
Well, some animals. Maybe I've overestimated the lethal aspects of that incendiary pacifier, Mrs. McGee. I have an idea he'll soon get tired of having ashes fall on his sweater.
Oh, don't worry about the ashes on this cigar, Doctor. This is the kind of a cigar I can smoke clear down to my molars before the ashes fall off. Don't you know the better the cigar, the longer the ashes will hold?
Any fifth grader smoking corn silk behind a silo knows that, McGee.
Then what do you want to make such stupid statements for? I'll bet you $20 I can smoke the ashes 8 inches long on this cigar.
That would be the neatest trick of the week, dearie. The cigar was only 6 inches long in the first place.
Well, it's a still better trick when you consider that McGee hasn't seen $20 in 40 years.
Oh, is that so? Well, I'll bet you $5. Fourth-class pharmacist, mate. I'll bet you $5 that I can smoke this cigar till the ashes are at least 3 inches long before falling off.
All right, you overstuffed little windbag. You've just made a bet. Toss your money on the drum, four-flusher.
Well, here goes your next month's allowance, McGee. Now, don't come begging me for 65 cents to go see Roy Rogers.
I'll wear my khaki shorts and a beanie and go to the kids' matinee for 15 cents. All right, Doc, it's a bet. $5, 3 inches of action.
That's a deal. I'll drop by later and pick up the $10. You'll buy me a new hat.
Getting tired of talking through the old one, Doc?
No. McGee.
Oh, that's all right, Mrs. McGee. He's just made a very bad bet, and it irritates him. See you later, my boy, and don't let anything jar those ashes off.
Why, that dirty, underhanded, double-dealing chest thumper. Did you hear him slam that door? Trying to make me jump and knock these ashes off. Why, that two-timing, finagling, pocket-picking, grasping... I got a good...
Billy Mills and the orchestra playing If You Please.
look at those ashes. Must be a full inch at least. Let's see. 1 inch out of 3, that's a third. Third of $5 is 3 goes into 5, wants 2 to carry that. 2 goes into 3. Shucks. Should have made that bet for $6. It's easier to figure. Doggone that phone. That's 11 times it's rung and Molly not here to answer. Okay. Go ahead and ring. You think I'm going to leap up and drop $5 worth of ashes? You got another? Cut it out, will you? That's better. Me with $5 at stake and the doggone telephone's got... Oh, you back, Molly?
Well, I hurried as fast as I could, McGee, but the grocery store is very crowded. Mm-hmm. Oh, I see you moved over to the couch.
Yeah, took me 15 minutes to cover the distance, but I made it. You see, lying down like this, the ashes on the cigar are perpendicular.
Oh.
The pull of gravity is through the long axis. On the other hand, if I was sitting in that chair, the ashes would grow horizontal and fall their own weight.
Oh, yeah.
Scientifically speaking, the ratio of gravity to the tensile strength of cigar ashes is indispensable. Hey, how long are these ashes by now, Molly? I'd say 1.5 inches at least.
Well, just about, I'd say. Mm-hmm. You've won half your bet.
Yeah, but I almost lost it there when a truck went by a while ago. Jarred the whole house. There ought to be a law that keeps... Doggone it, Uncle Dennis, can't you come in more quiet? You gotta slam the door like that? Gee whiz, you almost knocked the ashes off this cigar.
Oh, you want the ashes knocked off, my boy? Well, here, let me have it. I'll dump them in the fireplace. Here,
No, get away from me.
No, Uncle Dennis, he can't knock them off.
Go on. A big, strong boy like him can't even knock the ashes off a cigar. Why, all you gotta do...
Get away from me, you big palooka. These ashes are worth $5.
That's ridiculous, McGee. I can get you all you want for $3 a ton. Now, I know a fellow...
Look, Uncle Dennis, it's a wager. McGee bet Dr. Gamble he could smoke that cigar till there were 3 inches of ashes on it.
Well, now, I wish I'd been here at the time. I'd have taken a piece of that bet myself. Don't know any better way to pick up a couple of bucks.
You don't seem to at that. You got less energy than a wet, dry cell. You're not even trying to get a job.
Oh, now, McGee, I am too. Fudge.
You are not. Why, you can't walk down the street these days without somebody stopping you and offering you a job.
Oh, you can if you know where to walk.
And where did you walk?
All through the residential district, McCusha. Tramping the streets from morning till night with my snow shovel over my little shoulder.
Snow shovel? You know darn well it won't snow here for another month.
Oh, now, you see, even the weather's against me.
It does seem that way, doesn't it, you poor lad?
Poor lad, my clavicle. He's so lazy he wouldn't raise a hand to be excused.
Get up off of that couch and say that.
I can't.
That's what I figured.
Now, I wish you two boys wouldn't always be arguing.
Doggone it, I don't mind giving him his bed and board, but I resent giving him his bed and being board.
Oh, all right. I guess I'm a man who knows when he's not welcome. I'm going to go pack my bag and get out almost any day now. By next summer at least, I wouldn't be surprised. I'll see you at dinner, Molly, darling. I got to go to the public library now.
What are you going to do at the library, Uncle Dennis?
Got to pick up a couple of books.
Gosh, every time that door slams, the house shakes like it was built on a plate of custard. This is going to be the toughest $5 I ever earned in all my
Well,
life.
it won't be long now, dearie. In 15 minutes, you'll either have ashes on your shirt or $10 in your trousers.
I wish you'd go get a tape measure so I'd know exactly how long.
Well, hello there, folks. Hello, Molly. Hello, pal. Move over and I'll sit down beside you.
Get away from me, Willcox. Keep your distance.
What's the matter with Dream Boy, Molly? Got the mumps?
Now he's got a bet. He made a wager with Dr. Gamble that... What's the matter, Mr. Willcox?
I smell corned beef and cabbage. Gee, may I say for dinner I haven't had any corned beef and cabbage?
What do you mean, corned beef and cabbage, Junior? There isn't any...
That's his cigar you smell, Mr. Willcox, and there isn't an ounce of corned beef in it. Though I won't guarantee the cabbage.
I'll have you know this is a genuine 20-cent Pomona Bologna.
You told me 40.
Well, I've smoked half of it. Now, don't jar the Chesterfield here, Junior. You'll knock these ashes off.
So what? You've got Johnson's wax on all the furniture. Cigar ashes are no problem.
Well, in this case, Mr. Willcox...
This case is no different than any other, Molly. Everybody knocks ashes on furniture occasionally, but who cares? If varnished and enameled surfaces are protected against dust with Johnson's wax, as I know yours are, it's a very simple matter to...
Look, Junior.
Huh?
Look, I know it would delight your commercial little soul for me to drop these ashes.
So you could leap up with a glad cry and show how easy they could be wiped off. But I don't want to drop them, you understand?
No.
Well, it's this way, Mr. Willcox. My horizontal husband there made a ridiculous $5 wager with Dr. Gamble that he could smoke that zucchini zeppelin down to where it would hold 3 inches of ashes.
Well, gee whiz, I only made the...
Well, why didn't somebody tell me? I'm not one to go around just looking for excuses to tell people about how Johnson's wax protects and beautifies and makes housework so much easier. You know that.
Well, McGee?
No comment. I couldn't top that with Buck Rogers' rocket ship. Look, Junior, when you leave, and I'm not trying to rush you out, but when you do leave, and of course you're welcome to stay as long as you like, but if you do have to go right away, we really enjoy having you around, frankly, but if it's imperative that you depart, and I'll bet it is, please don't slam the door.
I'll be extremely careful, pal. And good luck with the bet.
Thank you, Mr. Willcox. Goodbye.
So long, Junior.
So long.
Well, that's the first time today anybody's been considerate enough to close the door softly enough so I got...
Hey, just a suggestion, pal.
Huh?
You better warn everybody else about this door, because there's quite a wind coming up, and it's hard to keep it from slamming.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Willcox.
Yeah, much obliged, kid.
You see what I mean?
Sometimes I think that guy deliberately tries to rib me. And other times I swear to it. Hey, do these ashes look like they've been jarred loose?
I don't think so. Say, by the way, McGee,
Huh?
what if you do get 3 inches of ashes on that cigar and Dr. Gamble doesn't get here in time to see them now? How are you going to prove anything?
Gee whiz, you're a witness.
Why, that's gambling, and I won't be a party to it. I wash my hands of it, and I'd be lucky if I don't have to wash the couch of it.
My gosh, you gotta find something. Hey, where's my little brownie camera? When I get 3 inches of ashes, I'll take a picture of it.
Yes, and it won't be the first silly ash in our album either.
You'll have to take time exposure, and I don't dare move. So we'll take the shade off the lamp, see, and I'll be sitting here.
McGee, hello, Mr.
Oh,
McGee.
hello there, Alice. What woke you up here?
I think it was somebody slamming the door. But I'm going right back to bed again. Were there any phone calls?
22 at a rough count, Alice. You're rooming in the wrong place, you know. You ought to have a cot at the telephone exchange.
Oh, Mr. McGee, I'd almost take you seriously if you weren't lying there so calm and peacefully. Did I get a call from Ben?
Ben?
Yes, he's a test pilot I used to go with. His name was Ben, but he was terribly bashful, and I guess I frightened him by saying something once. Like, for instance, didn't he think that when 2 young people got married?
Yes.
Well, that's all. I never did finish the question because Ben ran like everything.
That, sweet Alice, is what made Ben bold.
Oh, but he was such a grand fellow. He's the one who presented the award last week.
Oh, what award, Alice?
Oh, didn't I tell you? The test pilot voted me the girl they'd like to make all the dives with.
Just in passing, Alice, you might tip your boyfriends off that calling up here at 5:30 a.m. is definitely unsocial. It's so cold at that time of the morning, I have to hop out of bed on 1 foot so I won't get double pneumonia.
Oh, I will tell them, Mr. McGee. I really will. Those characters should know better than that. Oh, it was probably just one of the undertakers.
One of the what?
The undertakers. That's what we call the boys on the graveyard shift. You know, Philip is on that.
Philip?
Yes, he's a boy, but I've been seeing quite a lot of them lately. Although he's a middle-aged man, about 25.
Old bird.
It'll be almost no time before he's a doddering wreck of 30.
Philip has a brother who flies one of our bombers in England. He said it's an amazing sight to look down and see those Nazi officials walking around Hamburg and Cologne.
I'll bet it is.
Yes, he says they're so dumb they don't know enough to come in out of the ruin. Well, I guess I'll go back to bed now. Good night.
Good night, dear.
And walk softly, Alice. What a kid.
No, I think she's sweet. And she seems to be very popular.
Yeah. Personally, I got her tag for just a little croquette.
Don't you mean croquet?
Certainly not. Croquet is what a dentist puts in your toothache.
That's cocaine.
Go on, a cocaine is that fuzzy little sleeping bag that a caterpillar crawls into, and in the spring he pops out and says, "Surprise, I'm a butterfly."
That theory is a tycoon.
Ah, go on. A
tycoon is the big manufacturer.
Of what?
Pies.
Well, anyway, you don't mean Alice's at croquette.
Why don't I?
Because croquette means a piece of hash with a crust on it, usually chicken.
Exactly. That's Alice. What a crust on that chicken. Every time the phone rings. Uh-oh, look at the ashes now. Oh, boy, that bed is in the back.
Well, that cigar certainly doesn't smell any better as it gets shorter. 70 days. Why, that's awful.
Hey, maybe I'm smoking it too fast. Look at all the smoke. Boy, oh, boy. I can't even see the piano.
We haven't got a piano.
That's right. They took it out on account of we couldn't make
McGee, that smoke isn't from your cigar. It's coming from the kitchen. Good heavens, something must be burning. Come on.
Well, I wish I could help, Molly, but I don't dare get up. Let me know what's on
McGee,
fire.
the whole kitchen is blazing. Hurry, do something. The house will burn down.
Can you keep it under control while I smoke another inch on this cigar?
No, dearie, I can't. Some grease caught on fire and it's liable to spread all over the house.
That's bad. You better call the fire department.
Oh, dear.
I'll let you know when they come. I can see the window from the couch.
But, McGee, you gotta do something. You gotta... Oh, dear, oh, dear. Hello? Give me the fire department. No, Mert. Not time for that now. The fire department, please. Hello? There's a fire at 79 Wistful Vista. What? McGee, where is 79 Wistful Vista?
It's right here.
Hello, it's right here. Yes, hurry, please. They're coming right over.
Well, they better. That's what we're paying taxes for.
But, McGee, you can't just lie there and watch the house burn down.
You want to make me leap up and knock these ashes off and lose the bet? You want to make me look ridiculous? Hey, try beating the fire out with a wet blanket. If that don't...
Oh, here they come.
Doggone it, why can't they be more quiet? Come in and don't slam the door.
In the kitchen.
Don't bring your chemicals. Okay, come on.
All right, lady, what's time?
Look out for the ladder there.
Gangway, please, gangway. Quiet.
Come on, hurry up. Let's get a move on.
Ah, what a cigar. What a
The King's Men singing Kidoki-I-O.
Buckaroo Bill rode away on a bandwagon heading for the 4LC. And he found it terrific to be riding the Pacific, even rougher than the Lone Prairie. And he sang as he went to sea. Heave-ho, what a sailor I be. Come-tie, yippee-come-yo, heave-ho, yippee-tie on the dookie-dokie-I-O. Lasso the anchor and away we go. Come-tie, yippee on the dookie-dokie-I-O. Bang, bang, a boom, boom, a big bomb, a Tokyo. Skipper heard Bill sounding off with the scuttlebutt and took the buckaroo that night. And the crew, they were surely meant to send them to the Orient to put the Nipponese on ice. So they took old Buckaroo Bill's advice. Heave-ho, gotta put 'em on ice. Tie-yi, yippee, gotta scuttle their bones. Yippee-yi, yonder dookie-davy-I Jones. Lasso the anchor and away we go. Come-a-tie, yippee, yonder dookie-tokey-I-O. Bang, bang, a boom, boom, a big bomb, a tokey-I-O. Buckaroo's gal was a pistol-packing mama, and as true as any gal could be. So the waves took her on to do a hit or two upon the blue, and what a happy gal was she. And she sang as she went to sea. Come-a-tie, yippee-come-yo, heave-ho, right side saddle, inky-tokey-I-O. Lasso the anchor and away we go. Come-a-tie, yippee-yonder, dookie-tokey-I-O. Come-a-yippee-tie, whoopee-tie, heave-ho, kee-tokey-I-O.
They had the blaze out in no time.
Sure, I knew they would. I really got sore at that one guy. He was stomping around here like he owned the joint.
Well, my goodness, when somebody's house is on
A minute there,
fire.
I was tempted to let the thing go to bang and get up and tell those guys a thing or two off. What I
No,
thought.
you couldn't do that, dearie. Not for a little thing like us. Like us being cremated to death alive, yes, and badly burnt
Well,
besides.
gee whiz. Look, I only got about 3/8 of an inch to go on these ashes. You wouldn't want me. Where are you going, Molly?
Going out in the kitchen, clean up. Everything is sooty and messy. Now, don't disturb yourself.
Okay. Ah, there goes the kid. Any other woman with the house on fire would have lost her head. Wanted me to do something about it. But not her. No, sir. She's the finest. Now, come in, and quietly.
Hi, mister.
Doggone it, sis, didn't you hear me tell you to come in quietly?
Why?
Well, because I got a bet on that I can smoke this cigar till it's got 3 inches of ashes on it. I only got...
Why?
Because that's the test of a good cigar, that's why. We had an argument about it. He said...
Oh.
Doc Gamble. He told me that I... About an hour ago, we were...
Where?
Oh, why, who, what, when, where, how? Will you stop asking questions?
No, I got one more, mister. What was the fire department doing here?
Putting out a fire.
Oh.
What do you think they were doing? Playing musical chairs?
Gee, were they?
No.
Hmm?
Eh?
Okay. Hey, mister, will you save all your waste paper for me, will you please, mister? Will you? Please?
Well, I guess so, sis. Why?
Well, there's really a shortage of paper now, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there isn't enough lumberjacks to cut the timber.
Lumberjacks.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of paper mills have had to shut down, and they need the paper for containers and cartoons.
Cartons?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And gee, they gotta have waste paper for wingtips on airplanes and parachute flares and practice bombs and everything. And it's really gonna be serious if we don't save all our waste paper in the newspaper. So tell how to get in touch with the local savage committee. So will you please do it, mister? Will you please?
Okay, sis. Okay, it's a promise. Hey, how'd you find out all this stuff?
Oh, I listen to the radio all the time, mister.
All the time, huh? 7 days a week, I suppose. What's the matter?
Well, there's only 3 days in a week, I bet you.
Only 3 days in the week?
Sure. Sunday, Monday, and always.
You've been listening to the radio too much, sis. Why don't you sit down and relax a minute, and I'll ask my wife to give you a cookie.
Oh, I don't think I better stay, mister. If I see too much of you, it'll start gossip.
What do you mean, sis?
People will say we're in love. Go on, mister.
One of these days she's... Oh, hey, Molly, come here, quick.
What's the matter now, McGee?
Look, I did it. The ashes are 3 inches long. Call Doc Gamble. Gee whiz, here I was putting away, never thinking about how far down there.
Yeah. I've come to collect for $5. Well, hypo my German. Look at that.
Looks like you lose the bet, Doctor. He did it all right.
I'll say I did. Look at his face, Molly. He don't think any more of a pin than if he was a shark and it grew out of his back.
McGee, I didn't think it was possible. Pick up the money, my boy,
You bet.
and knock those ashes off before they fall on your face and smother you. Though there is something to be said for that, too.
Yeah, well, I'll knock him off when I get darn good and ready, Doctor. And hereafter, don't tell me I don't know a good cigar when somebody gives me one.
Don't be silly, McGee. You proved your point. Now throw those ashes in the fireplace.
Here, let me do it. You
No. You let go of that cigar, Doc. I'll take...
Oh, dear, you careless boys. Now you got them all over the floor. What's the matter, Doctor?
Look at that cigar, Mrs. McGee. What's that sticking out the end of it?
Looks like a hairpin.
Well, what do you know? Who'd ever thought of finding a hair stuck in a cigar? 40-cent cigar, too. Now get your hands off me.
Why, you miserable little crook. You stuck a hairpin in that cigar to hold the action.
No, just a gag.
That isn't what the cigar.
Do we still have to take good care of the things we have, or will there soon be a larger quantity of civilian goods available? I've just read an interesting article on that subject. It makes clear that, if anything, we should still take better care of our things. True, there may be some increases of certain goods, but there will be greater shortages of others. So go right on being very careful with your household equipment, and go right on protecting your linoleum surfaces with Johnson's Glow Coat. Of course, that's a sensible thing to do at all times. First, because Glow Coat saves you hours of work. It's self-polishing, needs no rubbing or buffing. Second, because Glow Coat keeps your linoleum new-looking and beautiful, colors fresh and bright. And third, because the regular use of Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat will make your linoleum last 6 to 10 times longer.
Good night.
Good night, all.
This is Harlow Willcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson Wax Finishes for Home and Industry, inviting you to be with us again next Tuesday night. Good night. This program has reached you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
This is Chicago, WMAQ. This is Chicago, WMAQ.
Here's Fibber McGee and Molly. For the American Armed Forces and their allies, Special Service presents the Fibber McGee and Molly Show with Billy Mills and his orchestra, the King's Men, Ransom Sherman, and Arthur Q. Bryan.
It's a wonderful and inspiring thing when a man and his wife can spend a quiet afternoon at home discussing the trend of the modern novel, current modes in impressionist art, post-war economics, and other such cultural topics. It's also fun just to sit and play gin rummy, like Fibber McGee and Molly.
I wish I could remember what happened with that 10 of spades. Are you holding it?
I won't tell, dearie. You knew what I was holding. Now, McGee, stop peeking through the discard.
Well, gee whiz, if the guy can't take a peek at it.
Down with four.
Down with 4. Wow. You sure caught me with my fallen arches, that Look at that, 87.
Minus 4 is 83. Well, that's game.
Wow.
And you now owe me $11,649.13.
Well, that's not so much, considering we've been playing every night since the game was invented. How much I owe you in cash?
$1.16. So let's just play one more game.
Ah, for the love of Mike. Try and be peaceful with a game of cards, and what happens? People run through here like Germans crossing the diaper.
Dearie, that's Dnieper.
Now, might be Dnieper in the middle, but anyway, I don't...
Come in.
Hello, Mrs. McGee. Hello, McGee.
Hi, Doc, old sock. How's everything in the stick out your tongue and say all right?
Oh, you look tired, Doctor. Sit down, rest a few minutes.
Thank you, my dear. I am tired. Most of the younger doctors have gone to the service. We old men have a lot more cases to handle.
Oh, you're not so old, Doc. I'll bet you're not a day over 85.
McGee, Dr. Gamble is more than 50.
Well, frankly, I feel right now as though I'd been the obstetrician in care of Methuselah's mother. Hey, look, folks, am I intruding?
Oh, not at all, Doc. Not at all, old kid. Not at all. We were just sitting around playing gin rummy. Care to take me on for a whirl? 10 cents a point?
No, thanks. I don't like the way you play. You always manage to turn over at least 5 of your opponent's cards every time you deal. Thought I'd stop in and rest a minute, Mrs. McGee.
Sure do look bush, Doc. You're as beat out as a World Series bunt.
Well, stop rubbing it. Stop rubbing it in, you little sadist. I know I'm tired, but I've still got more stamina in my left ear than you have in your whole pudgy little carcass.
Oh, yeah. Don't throw that pudgy business at me, Doctor. Why, you haven't seen your toes since you quit wearing pins in your knickers.
Ah, now, McGee, stop arguing. Dr. Gamble isn't fat.
Oh, no. He can't even touch his necktie without bending his knees.
All right, McGee. I'm too weary to punch the bag with you today. Thanks for the hospitality, Mrs. McGee. I better run along home.
Oh, don't be in a hurry, Doctor.
No, I'm not. In fact, I hate to go home. My house is in such a mess. Full of ants.
Full of ants? Gee whiz, Doc, why don't you do something? Well, here we go again. Another call for Alice Darling.
I'll get it, McGee. 79 Wistful Vista, Molly McGee speaking. Who? Dr. Gamble? Well, yes, he's right here. It's for you, Doctor. It's a man, and he's very excited.
Yeah, they always are. Probably got a severe hangnail. Hello. Yes. All right, I'll be right over. Have plenty of boiling water and clean linen. Yes, right away. Sorry, folks, I gotta be going. I am about to be master of ceremonies at the world premiere of another little taxpayer. Good day.
good old Doc. Just the middleman between the bird with the big bill and the guy with the big sickle.
You know that poor man is almost worn out, McGee?
I'll see.
Did you see his eyes?
I'll see. He's got pouches under him that a kangaroo would be proud of.
You know what, McGee? I was just thinking. It might be neighborly of us if we... Well, heavenly days, he's been nice to us, and if the poor tired man needs his dishes washed and his kitchen cleaned up, I don't see why we can't...
Oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't. Let him exterminate his own ants. He's a doctor, and if he don't know how to be sanitary...
But, McGee, we owe it to him.
Why do we?
Well, think of the things he's done for you.
Yeah, at $5 a thing.
Well, now, not necessarily. He got your thumb out of that bowling ball.
Yeah.
And he fixed your eye the time he stuck the turkey leg in it. He gave you emergency treatment the time you broke your arm, showing more tubes how you could take your vest off without removing your coat.
Yeah, but gee whiz, that's...
Yeah, and who scoured the town to find you a rubber donut the time you sat on the Hornet at the Elks picnic?
That don't mean we got to barge into the guy's house and start exterminating stuff.
Well, it does to me. Now get your head and we'll walk right over.
Hello, Mrs. McGee. Hello, Mr. McGee.
Hi, Al.
Hello, Alice, dear.
Were there any phone calls for me?
Were there any phone calls for it? Are you kidding? Why, it's getting so every time I pass the telephone these days, the receiver jumps up and down on the hook.
He crabs about it ringing all the time, Alice, but once it rings, Superman couldn't beat him to the phone. Give Alice her call, dearie.
Okay. Harold called. Wants you to go to the Swing Shifters dance with him. Artie called. Wants you to go to the Swing Shifters dance with him. Cliff called. Wanted to know, could you go to the Swing Shifters dance with him? Gerald called up and wanted you to go to the Swing Shifters dance with him. Eddie called.
What did he want?
He didn't say.
I think I'll go to the dance with Eddie.
Gee, ain't that just like a woman? 5 guys call and ask you, do you want to go to the dance, so you got to go with the guy that don't ask you.
Oh, but Mr. McGee, I like Eddie because he's so masterful. The way I first met Eddie was at a dance, and I was dancing with a boy, and Eddie came up with a great big knife in his hand and said, "May I cut in?" Eddie's really rugged.
Are you going to work now, Alice? It's a little early, isn't it?
Yes, but I'm going to stop at the hospital and see Jerome. He's one of my boyfriends, and he had an accident on account of being too patriotic.
Too patriotic?
Yes. Jerome was riding in a convertible with a top down, and just as he drove under a viaduct, the car radio started playing the national anthem, and Jerome stood up.
Oh, dear. Did it knock him out?
Yes, but he climbed back in again. Then after I go to the hospital and see Jerome, I have to get to the factory early because the fellows and girls on my shift are putting on a musical comedy, and I have to start rehearsing.
You mean rehearsing?
No, we haven't rehearsed at all yet. Oh, it's going to be a perfectly super production, my dears. It's a story about a girl who is simply mad about this great lover, and she tries to help him break out of prison.
Oh, what's the name of it, Alice?
Romeo and Joliet.
Look, Alice, if anybody wants us before you leave, tell them we're over at Doc Gamble's, will you?
I certainly will, Mr. McGee. I'll write a little note and leave it on the door telling everybody where you are.
Fine.
But when I leave the house, I'll tear it up so the burglars won't know there's nobody here. Goodbye.
She'll write a note and leave it on the door, but when she leaves, she'll carry it. I don't get it. Come on, Molly, let's go. We gotta go.
Billy Mills of the orchestra, and How Sweet You Are.
Dr. Gamble's house when we get there, McGee.
Yeah, the key's under the mat.
How do you know?
How do I know? Why, that's where practically everybody keeps the key.
Well, don't you think Dr. Gamble is too intelligent to use such an obvious hiding place?
That's just the point. He's so intelligent, he knows nobody'd ever think he'd do it, so he does it and fools them. But he don't fool me. I'm intelligent, too.
Well, here's your chance to prove it, dearie. This is Dr. Gamble's house.
Okay. There's the key under the mat. See?
You certainly figured that one out, McGee.
Betcha. Now, come on.
Oh, my, what an attractive house, McGee. Look at that beautiful grandfather's clock by the stairway.
See any ants?
Now, Chef, but the kitchen is probably where they are. Let's look out there, huh?
I guess Doc ain't such a bad housekeeper for a bachelor. Everything looks clean.
Yeah, but you know how men are. Careless with crumbs and things. See if there's any ants on the windowsill.
Okay, I'll take a gander. Here, give me a hand and I'll step up on the sink.
All right. Better brace yourself on the china cabinet there.
Not a sign of ants here, Molly. Maybe they...
Let go of that cabinet, McGee. The shelf is loose.
No, that's okay. I only...
We've broken every piece of china in the cabinet.
Well, that's better than busting only half of it. I see an ant.
Where?
Right there on a... Oh, no, it's just a little crumb of toast or something.
Personally, I can't see anything in this light. Open the Venetian blind, dearie.
Okay. I think stuck.
Pull it harder.
Imagine that, I was pulling the wrong cord.
Can you get it back up?
Sure, nails just pulled loose is all. Hand me something to pound it back in with. That silver pitcher.
No, you'll scratch it all up.
So what? Silver pitcher's going to get scratched up sooner or later anyway. Thanks.
What'd you do now?
My hand slipped. Broke the window.
Well, hand me the silver pitcher.
I can't. It fell out the window. Hey, give me a towel or something to stuff in this hole. Otherwise, Doc will have ants, bees, birds, butterflies, and homing pigeons in here. There we are.
Maybe this was all a mistake, McGee.
Huh?
Look, we've only been here 5 minutes and the place is a wreck.
Well, you can't make an omelet without busting a couple of eggs, I always say. Now, the first thing we got to do is...
Fibber, Molly, where are you?
Who's that?
Sounds like Mr. Willcox. I'm in the kitchen, Mr. Willcox.
How'd he know where we were?
Well, Alice probably... Oh, hello, Mr. Willcox.
Hello, folks. Great galloping goldfish. Something explode in here?
No, we're just doing this as a favor to Doc Gamble, Jr.
As a favor.
Dr. Gamble said he had ants, Mr. Willcox.
Well, if he didn't, he will have. Once these little men. What are you doing? Chasing them on horseback? Hey, what are you doing, Fibber?
The doc's got the temperature set too low on this refrigerator. I'm adjusting. I think I just about got it now. Where it ought to be just about Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, what a piece of junk that thing is. One little twist and the whole inside falls apart.
Well, excuse me, folks. I'm getting out of here.
Why, Mr. Willcox?
Why? Doc Gamble is our family physician, that's why. If he knew I was connected with this house wrecking, I wouldn't dare call him for a case of hiccups. Goodbye.
Sissy, scaredy cat.
Well, it does look pretty bad in here, McGee. Smashed china, hole in the window, blind torn down, and the refrigerator broken. Now, this is terrible.
No, I don't know. I think Doc will appreciate knowing how he got gypped on this house. Wonder how much he paid for this joint.
Well, I wouldn't know, dearie.
Hey, suppose I could tell by looking through his check stubs?
What?
They They must be right in the desk there.
McGee, you can't do that. People don't prowl through other people's private belongings like that.
Ah, that's just an old superstition. I always says that
Somebody's at the back door, McGee.
if it's a fellow with ragged clothes and a long white beard, that's our laundry man. He's been missing for a long time. Come in.
Hi, mister.
Well, I'll be a... Hi, sis. What do you want?
Nothing, I guess, mister. I just thought I'd come over and see what you were doing. What you doing? What's it?
Well, sis, I'll
Well,
tell you.
Dr. Gamble's having trouble with Aunt's little girl, so we thought we'd come over and see what we could do.
Yeah, how did you know we were here?
Well, that girl told me. You know, the one that lives at your house? Miss O'Brother?
Miss what?
Miss O'Brother? Anyway, that's what my daddy calls her.
Huh?
Every time he looks out the window and sees her go by, he says, there she goes, O'Brother.
Well,
I see.
what does your mother say to that?
Yeah, what does she think about all this?
Ah, she just laughs and laughs. She says my daddy's going through the dangerous age.
Oh, I see. When is a man's dangerous age, sis?
Well, Mama says it's between 14 and 100. Or in rare cases, 102. See, what you been doing in here, mister? Everything's all busted up.
Oh, a couple of minor accidents, sis. Now you run along. We're going to be busy.
Okay, mister, goodbye.
So long, and don't take any wooden dolls.
Oh, I wouldn't, mister. Not after what happened to Edgar Bergen.
What happened to Bergen?
Well, he took a wooden doll once and hasn't been able to move his lips for 20 years.
The King's Men sing Terry Bartkin's new hit, Riding Herd on a Cloud.
He was a cowboy, a two-fisted hitter, and always ready for a round. Now he's a-riding a different kind of critter. You ought to see him now. He's riding the herd on a cloud tonight. Left his spurs and his saddle on the ranch with his cattle, and he's now in flight with a crew of hardy hustlers on the lookout for some rustlers that might be sneaking up on Uncle Sam. He's riding the herd on a cloud tonight. Left his old ordinary kind of wide open prairie for a starry flight with a Brandon iron of thunder. He's a riding yonder, out-gunning with his partner, Uncle Sam. His horse up the grade for a course on how to saddle a plain and wide. Now he's in for the duration, yipping information with the cowboys of the sky. Someone back home feeling mighty proud says a prayer while he's there riding herd on a cloud.
Hey, open another box of that ant poison, Molly. I got to sprinkle some more around the living room here.
Oh, heavenly days, McGee. That makes 7 boxes we've used up. And you got a tracks all over the house. Now, look at that carpet.
Well, the more there's around, the more ants it'll kill. Hey, help me move the piano out from the wall.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, push! What was that?
Music rack on the piano. Busted in two when I started hauling on it. Boy, Doc sure took a beating on these furnishings. I never saw anything so flimsy. Did you see that arm come off that love seat when I picked it up?
McGee, watch where you're sprinkling that powder. Remember, that's poison.
Well, that's all the powder there is anyway. Won't be an ant dare stick its head in here for the next 20 years.
Shall we put the furniture back where it belongs now, dearie?
No, leave it out. Let Doc see how much work we've been doing for him. Hey, these are good cigars he's got here. I'll take a handful on behalf of how he'll appreciate what we're doing for him.
I think I'll sit down and rest a minute.
Me too. Hey, look. Well, slice me in two and call me Slim if that ain't a television set. Ever see one of these, Molly?
No, and leave it alone, McGee. We've done enough damage in here.
Oh, you can't hurt these things. Look, it's just like a radio, except it's got a screen up here that a picture's projected onto like a movie. See?
What's the screen made of?
Glass, I think. Yep, glass.
Did you break that?
Yeah, but they're easy, irreplaceable. As a matter of fact, Uh-oh, somebody at the door. Come in.
Hello, Molly, darling. Hello, Fibber, lad. Alice told me to be over here working, and I thought maybe I could help.
Oh, no, thank you, Uncle Dennis.
Hey, come here. We got a tag sticking to your shirt front.
Oh, I have. Well, take it off, Molly McVernon.
Now, hold still. There.
Let me see that. I thought so. Merry Christmas from Molly to Fibber. Now, look here, Uncle Dennis.
No, don't get excited, lad. I was only breaking it in for you. And look, I bought you a necktie to go with it now.
You give me that tie for my birthday.
Well, I bought it, didn't I? Goodness, lad.
Now, doggone it, Uncle. One of these
Now, boys.
Well, I'll scram along with you. We'll be home very shortly.
Very well, Ed. And don't hurry home now, Molly, because I peeled the onions and they're cooking in the pot this very moment.
What onions?
The ones in the paper bag on the sideboard.
Hey, those weren't onions. Those were Molly's new tulip bulbs.
Tulip bulbs they were, huh? Sure. Yes, no, and I had one sliced raw in a sandwich, and it wasn't bad at all. But then us Driscolls have always loved flowers. Goodbye now.
Well, McGee, it's getting late, and we've got to get this house straightened up. Just take a look at it.
Sure is a mess, ain't it?
Mess is right. That green ant poison tracked all over the house, furniture broken, the china smashed, the refrigerator out of kilter, and heaven knows what.
Oh, well.
Now, come on out in the kitchen. We'll start to straighten out. Heavenly days, now what?
I tripped over the lamp cord. It's a good thing I didn't fall on that busted globe, or Doc would have had a nice lawsuit on his hands. Leaving the lamp cord like that out for people like that.
The lamp cord was under the rug.
Looks like Doc's got company. Hi, ladies. You want to see Doc Gamble?
Yeah, because he isn't here right now. Won't you sit down and wait?
What has been going on here?
Oh, look at this house, Clarence. It's a wreck.
That horrible green powder all over everything. And who are you, may I ask?
Oh, we're neighbors, sis, Mr. and Mrs. McGee. You see, when Doc said he hated to come home on account of his house being overrun with ants, we just...
I beg your pardon, such insolence. Please go at once.
Oh, yeah? Well, now, wait a minute, girl.
Yes, who are you, if we may ask?
We are Dr. Gamble's aunts.
all my tulip bulbs.
Yeah. Well, I just called the drugstore and they haven't got any.
Any what?
Uncle poison.
McGee, please.
You're welcome. Good night.
Good night, all.
the Johnson Wax Program with Fibber McGee and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax, Johnson's Carnew, and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber McGee and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with music by the Kingsmen and Billy Mills Orchestra. I'd like to tell you about another interesting use for wax which has been brought about by the war. You ladies who are saving tin cans know there's been an acute shortage of tin, most of which comes from the Malay Peninsula. Because of this shortage, many products that used to be packed in tin containers are now packed in glass or paper. To save further, can manufacturers are now using only one-third as much tin coating as before the war. But when these new packages are shipped overseas, they need still further protection against moisture and corrosion. And that's where wax comes in. To help solve this problem, the makers of Johnson's Wax have developed special wax coatings for these metal containers to help prevent spoilage of vital canned foods. Some canners are already using these Johnson's Wax coatings, both for overseas and domestic packages. They're easy to apply by dipping or spraying. They're even made in olive drab color so that discarded cans won't reflect light. Any food canners interested may write for full details to S.C. Johnson & Son, Racine, Wisconsin, or Brantford, Canada. Well, it's a strange paradox that the squire of 79 Wistful Vista is a light eater and a heavy eater. The answer, of course, is that he's light when he sits down and heavy when he gets up. And here at the breakfast table, meet Fibber McGee and Molly.
Fibber McGee, strong and able, get your elbows off that table.
Oh. Excuse me. Boy, was I hungry. These fall mornings sure put an edge on a guy's appetite.
Say, listen, your appetite has always had an edge that would slice granite. Are you through with the morning paper?
Yeah, take it. It's disgusting.
What's disgusting about it? And take your spoon off that cup.
This Lend-Lease. Sending all the food out of the country. Burns me up. Hey, you got any more of that homemade jelly?
Plenty. I'll get some in a minute. But what about Lend-Lease?
It's ridiculous, that's what about it. Makes my blood stand on end. That's 100% Americans skimping along on scraps of food and all that stuff being shipped away. Make me another piece of toast, will you? Yes, sir. By George, it's shameful.
Oh, for goodness sakes, McGee, don't talk silly.
Huh?
I read that article on Lend-Lease myself. It said our shipments this year will be only 10% of our total food production. And then only if the basic needs of our armed forces and our civilian requirements permit it. You'll have to admit 10% isn't so much. That's only one donut out of a dozen.
If your idea 10% is one donut out of a dozen, baby, you better find another bakery. You've been getting gypped. You'd probably blow up the cream puffs with a bicycle pump.
I was merely trying to point out, my bulging boyfriend, that nobody, particularly you, will suffer any malnutrition from the food we send our allies.
Well, doggone it, it's the principle of the thing. All that food leaving the country and... Hey, is there any more of that country sausage?
No. And it will probably be months before we get any more.
There, you see, no country sausage. Here we are being deprived of our food at home when... Excuse me.
What are you doing?
Loosening my belt. I ate too much. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Here we are being deprived of our food.
You didn't finish your egg, dearie.
Oh.
Mustn't be wasteful, you know.
No, I can't finish it. Ran out of chili sauce. Get another bottle, will you?
That was the last bottle.
Our last bottle of chili sauce?
It was.
Where did it all go to?
Well, you had most of it at midnight last night with your bacon and tomato and tuna fish and lettuce and chopped olive and onion sandwich. Don't you remember?
Yeah, but doggone it, Molly, you know how I love chili sauce. Why don't you keep the bottle around for emergencies?
I do. And that's the bottle you ate.
Oh.
And just so you'll have a clear understanding of the issue, chili sauce is now, I think, 18 blue points a bottle.
18 blue points. We got to trade them oysters for it now?
No, 18 blue racing points.
Oh. Well, why don't you make some chili sauce? Get some tomatoes and chili or whatever you need and make some.
Why don't you make some?
Who, me? Why? Well, now, just do that little thing, Mrs. McGee. Now, let me see. Where did I see a recipe for chili sauce?
Oh, quit it, McGee. I was just kidding.
Well, I'm not kidding. I'm calling your bluff, baby. I'm going to make some chili sauce.
But, sweetheart.
Don't get mushy with me. You can't switch me off by having your long eyelashes at me this time. How many tomatoes we got?
About a dozen.
Well, that ain't enough. Get some more. Get about a gross. How many is that, 4 dozen?
That's 12 dozen.
Perfect. That ought to make several bottles of chili sauce.
Now, look, McGee, you don't know anything about how to make...
Careful there. Is the American Army the best fed army in the world? It is. And who cooks for them? Women? No, men. And do you remember that I was a mess sergeant in the last war?
No. Were you really a mess sergeant?
Yes, and without the comma. Now, look, before you go upstairs, get out a flock of canning jars and topsform seed and order a thundering herd of tomatoes. I got work to do.
Well, if you hadn't been so greedy and eaten all the tomatoes out of our victory garden, standing out there all summer with a salt shaker, I never saw anything.
Ah, dear, can you beat that? Guy just gets busy with his canning and look what happens. Come in.
Oh, good morning, Dr. Gamble.
Hello, Mrs. McGee. Hello, McGee.
Hi, Doc. Take a chair. I like to see a declining position in a reclining position.
How long have you been married, Mrs. McGee?
25 years, Doctor. Why?
25 years. A quarter of a century of putting up with such foul whimsy as that. You're a wonderful woman.
Trouble with you is, Doc, you haven't got any sense of humor. You wouldn't know a joke if it bit you in the leg.
If one of your jokes ever bit me, McGee, I'd be too busy cauterizing it to laugh.
Oh, I tell you, Dr. McGee has some wonderful jokes. You know, from when he used to be in vaudeville?
Yeah, you betcha. Me and my partner, a guy by the name of Fred Mitchell from Starved Rock, Illinois. We had some dynamite material, opened in one, closed in the alley. Yes, sir, we had some good stuff. Like when I'd come on stage playing the harmonica without making any noise, and Fred would say, "What are you playing?" And I'd say, "Silent Night." And we both bust into a buck and wing waving our little American flags. Ah, boy, the audience used to kill themselves with us.
I can understand it. The urge would be almost irresistible.
Say, McGee, tell Dr. Gamble the one about when you'd say, "Is that clock right up there?" And then Mr. Nitley would say, "Yes, right up there." Tell him that one.
Yes. Yes, do.
Oh, sarcastic, eh? I don't know why I even talk to you, Doc. I shudder to think I ever let a dumb bunny like you spray my throat.
Oh, McGee.
You wouldn't know the difference between arginol and arsenic.
In your case, I wouldn't be fussy.
Now, please, Doctor.
Doctor my clavicle. Why, you questionable quinine quarterback. You couldn't set a broken broom handle. You couldn't reduce the fever in a saucer of coffee with a cold north wind. You couldn't find the bone in a lamb chop.
Oh, why, you insulting little ingrate. When I think of the times I've got out of bed to come over here and treat you for a bad case of gluttony, I have a good notion to kick a couple of incisors down your noisy, overgrown trachea.
Oh, yeah. Well, if any incisors go down my trachea... What's a trachea?
The windpipe. A windpipe, with you the most active organ in the body. If the Curtis Wright Company ever hires you, they can burn down their wind tunnel and still test clipper ships.
Why,
You are the gabbiest, loudest, shallowest specimen of the so-called human race that's ever been my ill fortune to come in contact with. And the only reason I came over here was to see if you want to go duck hunting tomorrow morning.
Sure, what time?
6:30. I'll call for you. So long, Mrs. McGee.
Good day, Doctor.
So long, kid.
Billy Mills and the orchestra play the Surrey with the Fringe on top.
peppers, 8 pounds ripe skinned tomatoes, 1.5 C graduated sugar, 1.5 C. What do they mean, C? Oh, carton. 1.5 cartons of sugar, 4 3-inch sticks of cinnamon, salt, vinegar, cloves. Hey, Molly, where's the hatchet?
In the basement. What do you need the hatchet for?
I gotta chop some onions. Hey, let's trade at some other grocery.
Why?
Well, these people don't cooperate, that's why. The recipe for this chili sauce calls for some ripe skinned tomatoes. And they wouldn't send me any skinned tomatoes. Said I'd have to skin them myself. Independent as a hog on ice.
Don't be ridiculous, dearie. No grocery sells skinned tomatoes.
Oh, what kind of service is that? Next time we order butter, they'll likely send us some milk and tell us to churn it ourselves. By George, I don't
McGee,
think...
what's all this stuff on the shelf here?
Where? Oh, those. Well, that's some more stuff that grocery gypped me on. Green peppers. After I peeled the skins off, there was nothing left of them.
What?
Give me the phone. I'll give that grocery a piece of my mind. I don't
McGee,
think...
a green pepper isn't supposed
Hello, operator. Give me Jimmy Sales Grocery on the Mert. Is that you, Mert?
Oh, dear.
How's every little thing, Mert? There's, eh? What's a Mert? Oh, Mert. You don't tell me.
What is it, dearie?
I don't know. She don't tell me. What's a Mert? Okay, I'll call later. Grocery phone is busy. Hey, take a sniff of that stuff I mixed up there. Don't that smell good?
Shall I peel the onions?
No, thanks. But you can stand in front of me while I do it if you want to.
Why should I stand in front of you?
Because when I peel onions, I always cry. And what's marriage for if you can't cry on each other's shoulders?
Don't be silly. The way to peel onions without discomfort is to peel them underwater, you know.
There's too many of them. I couldn't hold my breath that long. No, I'll just fix them here and get them.
Hello, Molly. Hello, pal. What's cooking?
McGee is.
What?
I am, Junior. I'm whipping up a batch of chili sauce. You got any rude comments to make about it?
No, I haven't. And who are you making the chili sauce for? You've got enough tomatoes there for Chiang Kai-shek and the Chinese army.
Well, his ideas of proportions are a little haywire, Mr. Willcox. He'd probably make pickled peaches with 1 pickle and 50 peaches.
Oh, yeah? Well, I guess I know what I'm doing, Harpo. I just love chili sauce, and if the government is going to be nasty about it and charge 18 points a bottle, I'll fool them, that's all. They ain't going to lend-lease me out of my chili sauce.
You seem to have the wrong idea of Lend-Lease, pal.
Yes, explain it to him, Mr. Willcox.
Oh, I can't cover the whole subject, Molly. Lend-Lease is simply the way we exchange goods and services with our lives. We don't give everything away, you know.
Oh, no.
No. Why, in 1943, American forces in Australia and New Zealand received, on a reciprocal Lend-Lease basis, nearly as much beef as was sent from the United States to all countries receiving Lend-Lease foodstuffs.
You see, McGee?
Well, what are we sending all the chili sauce to Australia for? Answer me that.
No, we're not. But don't forget, our Army and Navy and Marines and Air Force are a healthy bunch of guys. They each eat about 2 pounds of food more a day than they did when they were civilians.
Well, does that mean I got to eat 2 pounds a day less a day?
Well, I can't think of anybody who could stand it better, dearie.
Well, it doesn't mean that at all, pal. There's still plenty of grub for everybody, though we may be a little short of certain items. Say, by the way, do you eat chili sauce 3 times a day?
Why, he eats chili sauce on everything, Mr. Willcox.
I never know such a thing. I don't eat chili sauce on
You see? He can't think of anything he doesn't eat it on.
Oatmeal?
Oatmeal? Did you ever eat oatmeal with chili sauce? Why, it's wonderful. Why, the first time I ever tried
Now, easy, McGee. Mr. Willcox is turning pale there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought everybody liked that. So you claim they ain't sending all the chili sauce overseas, eh, Willcox?
Of course they're not. Anyway, food is merely a part of the Lend-Lease plan. They send a lot...
Hey, I got an idea. I'll start my own Lend-Lease plan. Look, Junior, why don't you have Racine send England a few cases of Johnson's wax and let them send me some chili sauce?
Why?
Huh?
That's silly, McGee. There is a Johnson's wax plant in England already.
Certainly. Johnson's wax is as familiar to smart British housewives as it is to Americans. It's particularly valuable in the English climate because it seals surfaces against dampness as well as dust.
Still, Mr. Churchill might help you out on his next trip, McGee.
Hmm?
You know, he has nothing to do but smoke cigars, win a war, and bring you chili sauce. I think you peeled enough of those onions.
Huh? Oh, you think so?
Yeah, and look, don't waste any of that stuff, Fibber. You know the 4 points of the Food for Freedom campaign. Grow what you can, conserve all you can, share what you can.
Can what you can?
She's joshing you.
Yes, Molly, even that. And last but not least, play fair with the rationing system. Give everybody a square share.
Look, Junior, how come you're so well informed on this food business?
Well, I'll tell you. My wife sat me in a chair last night and talked to me for 3 hours about it. And just because I went out and spent all of our month's meat points for a couple of wonderful steaks. A word to the wise, pal. So long now.
What do you mean that stuff, a word to the wise? Tomatoes don't take any ration points, do they?
No, I think what he meant was let the woman of the house handle the food problem. Now, would you like to go to the Elks Club and let me take over the chili sauce department?
No, sir. I'm going to see this thing through. It's practically all mixed now. Don't that smell good?
Not bad at all, but McGee, what are you doing with that pillow cake?
That's to put the spices in. Cook them. Recipe says put spices in cheesecloth bag while the mixture cooks. But I couldn't do that because cheese takes more points than chili sauce.
But you can't use one of my good pillow slips. I'll get you a little bag you can use. 70 days if you only ask for what you want.
Hello, Mr. McGee. Hello, Mr. McGee.
Hi, Al.
Hello, Alice.
My goodness, Mr. McGee, what are you doing?
I'm making up some chili sauce, Alice. Don't it smell good?
Oh, why, you great, big, talented man, you.
Oh,
Jeepers, I hope I get a man that's a good cook. Or at least I hope I get a man who can cook. Or at least I hope I get a man.
I don't think you'll have any trouble, Alice. There's a list of telephone calls on the hall table as long as you're out.
Oh, thank you ever so much, my dear. I'm sorry if the boys have been disturbing you because I've told them never to call me here except in an emergency. But you know how boys are. They think if they whistle at a person and she sort of smiles, they think it's an emergency. And they always call up and want to know if a person can go to a movie or something.
Yeah, I imagine you see a lot of good movies that way.
I don't guess you're interested in any one boy, though, are you, Alice?
No, Mrs. McGee, though I was for a while in Archibald.
Archibald?
Mm-hmm. He's the son of the owner of the airplane plant, and my dear, he's just rolling in it. Though he is a weird kind of a drip. And all the girls and the fellows started kidding me about how I was being nice to Archibald just because his father owned the plant. And it got to bothering me, and I finally asked myself, was I? And I was. So I told Archibald to go bake a cake.
Yeah, what did he say?
He said he was very upset.
And what did you say?
I said, in that case, go bake an upside-down cake.
I don't think we need to worry about Alice McGee. She seems to be able to handle almost any situation.
The way she tosses the mails around, she ought to get a job in the post office over Christmas.
Oh, Mr. McGee, you just say that. Well, I guess I better get to bed now, and I hope your applesauce turns out all right.
It's chilly.
Well, put it on the stove, foolish. Bye-bye now.
The King's Men singing Starwood Mountain.
I've got a gal in Starwood Mountain. Oh, little down, fiddle-I-day. She won't come and I won't call her. Oh, little down, fiddle-I-day. Roosters are crowing in the Starwood Mountain. Oh, little down, fiddle-I-day. So many pretty gals I can't count 'em. Oh, little down, fiddle-I-day. Big dog barking, the little ones will bite you. Oh, little down, fiddle-I-day. Big girls courting, the little ones fight you. Oh, little down, fiddle-I-day. My true love lives up in Ledger. Oh, little down, fiddle-I-day. She won't come and I won't fetch her. Oh, little down, fiddle-I-day. My true love lives over the river. Oh, down the field come some of them days. A few more jumps and I'll be with her. Oh, down the field come some of them days. I've got a gal at the head of the holler. Oh, down the field come some of them days. She won't come and I won't follow her. Oh, down the field come some of them days. I got a gal to the other side of the pasture. Oh, yum, the day. She won't come and I won't ask her. Oh, yum, the day. I just wrote her a lovesick letter. Oh, the diddly day. If she wants to read her, she will have to come and get her. Oh, the diddly day. Old man, I want your daughter. She must take and carry me water. Oh man, I want your daughter. Down, diddle, down, diddle, down, diddle, day. She must take and carry me water.
Does that smell good? Don't it smell good, Molly?
Haven't you cooked it about enough, dearie? I'd like to get lunch on that stove unless you prefer your macaroni cooked over an open fire in the backyard.
I won't be very long now, 5 or 10 minutes, then I put it in the jar.
Did you sterilize the jar?
Sure I did, inside and out with rubbing alcohol. Hey, hand me another tomato.
Why do you keep adding tomatoes?
Well, because I keep forgetting how much salt and pepper and vinegar and stuff I put in, so to balance it up every time I put in anything, I toss in another tomato. Hey, you wanna finish this job, Molly?
No. No thanks, dearie. You're the Oscar of this Waldorf.
Ah, come on. The work's all done. Gee whiz,
Oh, hello there, Uncle Dennis.
Hello, Molly, darling. And Fibber, what would you be doing now, lad?
I'm mixing up a batch of chili sauce, huh?
Looks good, but then so did the German army at first.
Well, no, why didn't you tell me you wanted some homemade chili sauce, lad?
Huh?
I'd have been glad to make you some, always providing, heaven forbid, that I haven't lost the recipe for it, that my Aunt Margaret, may she look down and see what condition my shoes are in and send me good luck, gave me.
I never knew you could cook, huh?
Never knew I could cook. And who was it put all the clam bakes for the West Side Social, Athletic, and whatever became of Al Smith for President Club? And who was it that always barbecued the spare ribs for the annual picnic of the firemen and police, which the war may have soon and put a stop to, and none too soon?
Did you do all that cooking, Uncle Dennis?
Well, no, but I can lay my hands on the man who did, and he'll teach me all he knows, or I'll have the eyes out of his head with my thumb. May no such violence be necessary.
Well, it won't be necessary now, Uncle. All I wanted was plenty of chili sauce, and I'm doing all right with that. I hope.
It reminds me of when I was chef at a very uptown hotel. Peace be to its ashes as it burned down recently, though I didn't keep the job very long because of a slight misunderstanding.
Oh, what was the misunderstanding, Uncle Dennis?
Oh, there was one waiter, may his tires were to shreds. Well, he was always for giving me trouble. One day I look out from the door from the kitchen, and there he is at the table of our wealthiest patron now, setting fire to the pancakes. I rushed out, threw the waiter out by the seat of his pants, dashed a pail of water on the table. They told me they were creepy Suzettes and they were supposed to be lit. I went out and threw the waiter back in, took off my coat, and went to a movie starring Bessie Barriscale and enjoyed it very much.
Look, I hate to interrupt these little reminiscences of your checkered career, Unc, but you and Molly better get out of the way. This chili sauce is ready to put in the jars.
Have you got the jar seated, Biggie?
Oh, my gosh, no, I forgot that. Hey, you do it, will you, Molly? Go on, while I step outside for a breath of fresh air.
Well, go right ahead, lad. Go ahead. It's in the good hands of Dennis Driscoll as is, and Molly Driscoll as was. That's to the day she changed the name.
What was that, Unc?
Never mind, Biggie. You go get some fresh air.
Oh,
go on.
Boy, did I talk myself into a mess this time. That stuff is going to taste like rubber hose a la mode. Why can't I keep my big fat mouth shut? Why wasn't such a doggone
Hi,
win?
mister.
Oh, hello there, little girl.
What's the matter, mister? What's the matter with you,
Oh, you wouldn't understand. Skip it.
Come on, mister.
No.
After all, what is a woman for if not to share the burdens of the man she loves? And don't just sit there with your head in your hands, mister. Look into my eyes.
Go away, sis. Forget you ever knew me. I'm just a big palooka from Peoria, and that's all I'll ever be. Go on now, go away. I don't feel good.
No, don't say that. It is gives a woman twice to stand shoulder to shoulder with a man when he's in trouble. And if you stay sitting down, mister, I can stand shoulder to shoulder with you. Just stand here, betcha. Come on, mister. What's the matter?
I'm a stupid off. That's what's the matter. Now, look, sis, I popped off about how I was going to make some wonderful chili sauce. So what did I do in my brilliant way? I lose the recipe. I forget how much of anything I put in. Lost it all. I've wasted enough food mixing up that batch of fly spray to ruin the National Food Program for 10 years. I'm practically a saboteur. I ought to be stood up against the wall.
Now, Mr. Jiminy, it can't be that bad, I bet you. You're a wonderful man, Mr. McGee, and you've been a good kid. And when I grow up, I want to marry a man just like you. Maybe not so gabby, maybe. How's your chili sauce taste, Mr. McGee?
I don't know. I didn't dare wait and see. Now I'm scared to go back. I've made such a big mouthful of myself.
McGee, where are you? McGee, oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Well, we tried your chili sauce, lad, and it's marvelous.
McGee, it's really wonderful, and you knew it was, you rascal. Oh, you sneaked out here so we'd taste it.
It was pretty good, huh?
It's the sauce of the century, man.
Why, it's delicious. I take back everything I said.
Oh, forget it. Well, when I tell you I know how to do something, I know what I'm talking about. Esther, come on, let's finish canning it. And we'll save the prettiest one for the state fair. The McGee chili sauce has never lost a blue ribbon yet. Esther, by George, when I start out to do something.
Oh, brother.
When a circus bills itself as the greatest show on earth, we're not too disturbed by its use of the superlative. Still, we don't like slogans that are always saying the world's best and the world's biggest. That's what troubles me right now, because it just happens that Johnson's Glow Coat is the world's most popular floor polish. Will you forgive me if I say it just this once? The fact is, you probably use Glow Coat on your own linoleum floors for excellent reasons. Not just because it keeps those floors sparkling and beautiful, not merely because it saves you hours of work, needs no rubbing or buffing, and not only because it makes your linoleum last 6 to 10 times longer. Not for just one of these reasons, but for a combination of all three is Glow Coat the most popular floor polish. Linoleum floors the world over are protected, beautified, and made to last longer by the regular use of Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat.
Ladies and gentlemen, carelessness with food supplies doesn't usually turn out as well as it did with McGee tonight. Food, you know, is an important war material, and a lot depends on how we use it. Now, if we waste food and fail to use it for what it is, a weapon, we might seriously alter the course of the war and delay the day of victory.
If we all make up our minds to conserve food in every way, eat the right things, use plentiful food instead of scrambling for the scarce ones, and observe rationing and price rulings, we'll do all right. So, lick that batter clean, Dave. Lick that batter clean.
You know, we'll never get to first base if we don't start from the home plate.
Good night.
Good night, all.
This is Harlow Willcox speaking for the makers of Johnson Wax products for home and industry, inviting you all to join us again next Tuesday night. Good night. This program came to you from Hollywood.
The Johnson Wax Program with Fibber McGee and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax, Johnson's Car New, and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber McGee and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with music by the Kingsmen and Billy Mills Orchestra. Before we go out of the show, I'd like to make an important announcement. Apparently, there are some people who think you can't buy Johnson's Wax products today. I don't know how such a rumor got started, but I do want you to know that you very definitely can buy these famous Johnson products. Paste and liquid wax, self-polishing Glow Coat, cream wax, and Car New auto polish. It may be that your dealer doesn't have all sizes at all times, but he gets his fair share of the supply, and he will give you your fair share. It's true that the makers of Johnson's Wax are turning out millions of packages of protective finishes for war use, and are proud of it. But by stepping up production and without interfering with the war job, they are also able to make good quantities of the Johnson's Wax polishes that are so important for protecting your floors, furniture, woodwork, and leather goods. You can help by not wasting any wax. Use it sparingly, because a little goes a long way. Well, sir, if there's anything we love to see, it's the thoughtful little courtesies of courtship extended into married life. The way a man leaps up to open a door for his wife. The way he hands her a dropped handkerchief with a smile and a grateful bow. The 1,001 tender little ways he waits on his beloved. For instance, here are Fibber McGee and Molly.
McGee, I've asked you 7 times now. Will you please get me a glass of water?
Huh? Oh, yeah, in a minute. Hey, did you read the paper here how bad the insects are over there in Italy? They're so bad they have to fight them with airplanes.
Oh, where'd you see that?
Right here it says, increased activity by mosquito bombing. And there's pictures. See it? The picture of the guy up there?
Yeah?
Oh.
You expecting any phone calls, McGee?
Dallas Darling flew into our little nest. I've been expecting calls at 3-minute intervals. Yes, and getting them, too. You answer it while I go get you a drink.
All right, dearie. 79 Whistler Vista, Molly McGee speaking. No, I'm sorry, but Miss Darling is asleep. Who? Oh, yes, I'll tell her. Goodbye.
Who was that?
Well, it was some soldier, dear. He says he's a friend of Allison's and simply won't go back to camp till he sees you.
Leave his name?
No, just his initials, AWOL.
That's nobody's initials. Doggone it, what's the matter with this faucet?
What?
Well, it's clogged up or something. Nothing comes out.
Oh.
Hot water faucet don't work either.
No, sir.
Hey, you suppose I did something wrong when I fixed the water heater this morning?
What? A master carpenter like you do something wrong?
You mean a master plumber?
Well, when it comes to carpentering, yes. But when it comes to plumbing, you're a master carpenter.
Picture this. Here you are, thirsty like a blotter, dry as an A-card gas tank. Can't get a drink of water in our own, or mostly our own house. By George,
You answer this to McGee. I'll run upstairs and see if the water's on up there.
Okay. Hello? Yes. No, Miss Darling is asleep. No, I won't wake her up. Kid works hard and never gets enough sleep as it is, carrying around the dances and everything. Huh? Yes, I think she is working too hard. No, she don't. She looks terrible. So if you're one of these jitter-cutting rub bugs, huh? Yes, Mr. Darling. I'll tell your daughter you called. Boy, I sure put my best foot in my mouth that time.
Who was that, McGee?
Alice's old man. I thought he was one of the boyfriends and gave me the old razzle-dazzle about the kid whooping it up too much. Scoop her out of here like an oyster out of a stew. I don't mind losing the $12 a week, but she'll take her ration books with her.
Well, I'll explain it to him later. And I found out what's the matter with the water.
You did? What?
You left your blue coat hanging on the bathroom door.
So what? If the plumbing is so bad here that hanging the coat on the doorknob...
And in the pocket, I found this.
What? Oh, my gosh. The check for the water bill.
Sure.
I thought I mailed that thing.
I thought you had, too. You know, it's been a week since we got the notice that said our water would be shut off in 3 days if the bill wasn't paid.
Oh, they cut my water off, do they? For 15 years I've been putting out my hard-earned dough. For what? For the docile privilege of strangling myself on their muddy old stoop.
No.
And they shut me off. The nerve of them. Why, those two overcharging chiselers. If I don't give them...
Now, stop it, McGee. It's all our own fault. We had plenty of warning, you know.
That's beside the point. It's the principle of the thing. Why, suppose this happened to be an aquarium, or a hospital, or a children's home. Think of all those suffering people, parched with thirst, no water to wash, no unsanitary conditions. But that's how an epidermis gets started.
No, you don't mean epidermis. You mean epidemic.
I do not. An epidemic is a little squirt gun with a needle on it, but the doctor says this won't hurt, and it always does.
Nah, that's a hypo.
I thought Hypo was one of the Marx brothers.
You're thinking of Harpo.
Well, then what's an epidermis?
Epidermis is skin.
That's what I said. This thing has got under my skin. Shutting my water off after all these years of fairly prompt payment every month. I'm going to call those nickel-hungry mugs, and where's the phone book?
Good maybe.
Whistle this to hard support. Whistle this to cat and dog. Whistle this to wet wash. Oh, too far. Whistle this to... 1900. I'll give them penny-ante faucet sluggers a blistering little... Hello, this is Fibber McGee of 79 Wistful Vista. And who do you think you are shutting off my water? You get one of your wrench monkeys out here, huh? Ooh, oh! No, Miss Darling can't come to the phone.
He's gonna die.
Oh, okay, I'll tell her you called. Add Gordon.
If he starts calling today, then as soon as she gets up, he'll be Gordon about the 4th of July.
No, I've forgotten Dad's number.
Really want you to fucking stay in the game. Now they gotta get your, they got their leader card up. You're stealing all your shit.
Oh, here we go. 1900. Give me the phone. I'll give those frog pond tycoons a piece of my mind when they won't.
Hello, Mr. McGee. Say, Mrs. McGee, honey, what's the matter with the water? I just tried to take a shower and the faucet just hissed at me.
Don't tell me the faucet's been getting out of bed and answering the phone for you, too.
Well, frankly, Alice, dear, we forgot to mail the water company a check and they shut it off.
Oh, goody. Now I don't have to take a cold shower. Aren't cold showers invigorating and horrible? Oh, well, I've got to go downtown and shop for silk stockings. And maybe the water will be on again when I come back.
Shopping for silk stockings. Aren't you a little optimistic, Alice?
My dear, I'm a complete stoop, and I know it. But I found 4 pair last week, so I don't mind being a stoop. Were there any phone calls for me?
Any phone calls? Look at this cauliflower ear, Tootsie. You think I got that from sleeping in a rock garden? My gosh, it's getting so when the phone don't ring, I jump out of my skin.
It isn't really that bad, Alice. And there's a list of your phone calls on the hall table. Add Gordon to it.
Oh, that's Gordon Fox. I've got a date with him Saturday. I don't like him.
You don't like him and you got a date with him?
Yes. I thought it would be a novelty to go out with a fox just once.
Alice, does Mr. Fox work at the airplane plant, too?
Oh, no, Mrs. McGee. Poor Gordon. He's got such a delicious voice. So masculine and everything, and he's tried to get a job as a radio announcer. But they all tell him the same thing. Too short.
Well, that's an odd reason for not wanting an announcer.
Well, he doesn't speak very good English either. You see, he's a lithograph, so he's lived in this country for years and years.
He's a what?
A lithograph, you know, from Lithuania.
Oh, yes. Lithograph. I was afraid for a minute he might be a big oss from Australia.
Oh, Mr. McGee, you're just being ridiculous. You know very well people from Australia are ostriches. Well, I'm sorry if the phone calls have been bothering you. Some of those characters at the plant think they can call a girl up anytime they want to simply because their phone number happens to be embroidered on the pocket of her coveralls. Well, goodbye now.
Shut my water off, will they? Don't they know there's a war worker living here? By George, if I... Hey, I was going to call him up. What was that number again?
I don't remember, dearie. Here's the phone book.
Whistle this to art support. Whistle this to cat and dog. Whistle this to wet wash. Oh, pass the laundry bin. Here we are, 1900. Give me that phone.
Here, but what good will it do? You can't pay a bill over the phone.
You're right. We'll go down there in person. Where's my hat?
I don't know.
I do. It's right here in the hall. Gotta straighten out that closet one of these days.
Billy Mills and the orchestra play My Heart Tells Me.
Molly, come on, will you? Gee whiz, I've been waiting here for 15 minutes with my hat on. What are you doing?
I'm trying the faucet once more, dearie. I'll be there in a minute.
Okay.
The best player.
There's a good deal. She knows darn well I haven't got a leg to stand on in this thing. What does she do? Bawl me out? No, sir. She gets sore at the water company right with me. That's the kind of a wife. Come in.
Hi, mister.
Oh, hello there, sis. Now, don't take off your mittens, kitten. Because I and my wife are scramming out of here in a minute.
Why?
Because we got important business downtown, that's why. With a big utility man.
Oh?
Technical point has arose, which has to do with the legality of service continuance during a lapse of monetary return from the consumer.
Well,
Never mind. You know what they used to say when I was a lad, sis? When they wanted somebody to scram? They'd say, put an egg in your shoe and beat it.
You sure went with a corny bunch of kids, didn't you?
Oh, yeah? Well, what does your little group of intellectuals say?
Oh, we say blow, Joe. Or, take a powder pigeon. Or, do you have to leave, Steve? Oh, anything like that.
Okay. The idea is this, that I got no time to stop and talk.
Hey, can I have a drink of water, mister?
No.
Why?
Well, because our water, because there's something... No, you better not.
Well, gee, mister, I'm awful thirsty, I bet you. Come on, just one little sip of water, please.
No, I'm sorry, sis. No. Go home and get a drink.
You mean you won't give a thirsty little child a drink of water? Don't you like little children?
Certainly I like little children. I was a little children, or child. Once myself. Now, looky here, sis. I don't want to be nasty with you, but during this nice autumn weather, a kid like you shouldn't ought to spend so much time in the house. Particularly this house. Now, hit the grid, Snip.
Look, mister, I don't mind so much you refusing a little thirsty child a drink of water, even though water is about the cheapest thing there is, but you deceived me, I bet you.
Huh? What do you mean I deceived you?
Don't give me that coon whip, mister.
Huh?
We saw the waterman turn off your water this morning because you didn't pay your bill. And my daddy says he wished there was some utility he could go to and get your hot air shut off. Sure. If you'd have offered me a glass of root beer or something, I'd have clammed up, mister, but now, oh, brother.
Why, that little blackmailer. She's going to blab it all over the neighborhood, is she? My God. Hey, Molly, hurry up, will you?
Coming, dearie.
Oh.
You're right, the water is shut off. Not a faucet in the house that works. I tried them all. Who are you talking to?
The little girl across the street. Come on, let's go. You got the water bill?
No, I do.
Yes, you got any money?
No, I do.
Yes, you want to call a cab?
No, do you?
Yes, can we afford it?
No.
Okay, come on. Well, here we are, Molly. This is the Wistful Vista Utility Building. Yeah.
Well, I don't know how it can be, dearie. We didn't pass the Wistful Vista Arts Support or the Wistful Vista Captain Dog Hospital.
Hello there, Molly. Hiya, pal. Say, I was looking for you folks.
Oh, hi, Junior.
Why were you looking for us, Mr. Willcox?
Well, I was hoping you'd be home this afternoon, but as long as you're not, may I take the key to your house?
Is Molly in yet? Key to yours? Had a hard time getting out of that cab. What's the idea of wanting the key to our house, Junior?
Well, look, I wanted to bring a customer over and show her your kitchen linoleum. Yours is such a wonderful example of how Johnson's Glow Coat preserves the beauty of the pattern and protects against scuffing and cracking.
Oh, well, in that case, Junior, I see no objection to giving you...
You see, I'm going to show this woman how beautifully Glow Coat has protected your linoleum, Molly. Then I'm going to toss a little glue of some kind on the floor and show her how easily it will wipe off a glow-coated surface with a damp cloth.
Oh, where do you get the damn cloth, Mr. Willcox?
Oh, I'll take an old cloth with me and hold it under the faucet in your sink for a minute. Oh, what's the matter?
Is there any other place where... I mean, well, gee whiz, Junior, do you have to use our house for this demonstration?
Sure, haven't you any other customers with glow-coated linoleum?
Say, what is this, a runaround? Are you brushing me off?
Oh, no. Don't get that idea. Get that idea out of your curly little head, Junior. With our rumor, Miss Darling, trying to sleep. We don't want any disturbance.
Miss Darling is downtown shopping. I saw her 10 minutes ago.
Oh, he didn't mean Miss Darling. Miss Willcox, he meant Uncle Dennis. Please stay tuned. We wouldn't want to disturb
Uncle Dennis isn't home either. I saw him downtown, too, going into a bookie joint. So may I please take your key? No, I can't. And you just wait till Racine hears about this. You won't even cooperate with me to make a lifetime customer for Johnson's Global. A fine thing. Yeah, but look, Carl, skip it. Skip the whole thing. Anybody think I was going to wreck your house? You think I was going to do anyway? Go away and leave the water running?
He thought. We couldn't tell him our water's been shut off.
Oh, even better at that. Do you think he'll really tell Racine?
Nah, Junior's chicken-hearted, but he ain't big-headed.
What do you mean?
He'll squawk, but he won't squeal.
We better get that bill paid before there are any new confrontations.
Yeah.
Now, where do we go?
I didn't hear, I think. This is where I came the last 4 times they shut it off. 1927, 1930, 36, and 41.
Yes, what was it, please?
We want the water turned on at our house, sis, but quick.
Very well. Please see Mr. Snavely at window 12. Mr. Snavely is in charge of your account.
But this isn't a new account, dearie. This is one of your old tired accounts. And I think it's tired on account of we keep forgetting to pay the bill.
Now, look, sis, we've been using your chlorine-flavored cloud juice for 20 years. And the only courtesy we ever had in all that time was once a fish came out of the faucet and bowed to us.
Just what was your trouble, please?
Our water has been shut off.
Oh, I see. Please sit down while I look up the account. What was the name?
Fibber McGee, 79 Wistful Vista. And let me tell you, sis, if I don't get better treatment, you can close the account and I'll deal direct.
Direct with who, dear?
Well, it still rains and snows, don't it? I can catch it in tubs on the roof, can't I? Just because this company's got a monopoly on water service in this town.
I think you mean monopoly, sir.
What'd I say?
You said monopoly?
What does that mean?
That means the same thing over and over.
And this is it. I've been through this same thing. In 1927, 1930, 36, and 41. Here's the check, sis. Now get busy.
Just sit down, sir, while I check the account.
About time you learned this lesson, McGee.
What lesson?
The futility of arguing with the utility. Heavenly daisies. Oh, there's Dr. Gamble. Hello, Doctor.
Hello, Mrs. McGee. Hello, McGee.
Hi, Harold Smith. What's your complaint to the water company? Find a germ in your garden hose?
I have no complaint to make, my boy. Just came down to check up on one of the officers of the company.
Oh, what's the matter with him, Doctor?
Probably drank some of the company's water and he's so full of mud he wants Doc to subdivide it.
There's nothing really wrong with the man. He's just overworked. Lost a lot of help. And he says there's an epidemic of lint heads who've been forgetting to pay their water bills. When the water's shut off, they come screaming down here and accuse them of everything but the burning of Rome and the Kansas Dust Bowl. Incidentally, what are you here for?
Merely, Oh, Mr. McGee.
Yeah?
If you will take this check over to the delinquent account department, window 17, they will arrange to turn your water back on.
Thank you, miss.
Ah, you too, McGee? So you're one of the yapping citizens who's always screaming for service but gets right as cramp inside of a checkbook.
Is that so? Why, you big deep-sea iodine sprinkler?
Why deep sea, McGee?
You've seen his sign, physician and surgeon. I'd like to see your diploma sometime, you big medicine show banjo player. I'll bet you got less standing than Sitting Bull.
You've got as much bull standing as sitting. Why, you pathetic little biological sport.
You hear that, Molly? I think I'm a biological sport.
Is it that nice?
Did you really mean that, Doc? You're not just saying that because you admire me.
No, indeed.
Gee, thanks. Confidentially, I kind of got a sneaking admiration for you, too, Doc.
Thanks. See you at the Elks tonight?
Yeah. Be there early, Doc. I'll sneak a few hands of script. So long.
Good day.
Goodbye, Doctor. Isn't he nice?
Great guy. Great guy. Imagine him thinking I'm a biological sport. Well, I'll certainly have to try to live up to that.
The King's Men singing Sunshine of Virginia.
All the little flowers nod their pretty heads when my sweetie passes by. All the little birdies in the trees fly the skies above her smile on my sunshine of Virginia. All the little dewdrops pop and listen for my baby. Birdies in the treetops stop and listen for my baby. When I'm walking by her side, I'm a dizzy one. Dizzy, dizzy, that old Cupid really must be a dizzy one. Everybody loves her so, pretty little baby, giving me her kisses. In a little while, maybe, she will be my little missus. She is the sunshine of Virginia. All the soldiers and the sailors give a whistle when my sweetie passes by. When she visits U.S. old canteen, submarine, nice spoon and water spoon, and even scouting colonels when they catch her eye, meet her and leave her with a smile. Is it any wonder that I love her when, like skies above her, she is the sunshine of Virginia?
Turned on long before we got home. Be good to walk in and get a nice cold glass of water at that time. You know, Molly, them guys at the water company never learn. They're stupid.
Why?
They never learn that I always pay my bill. My guy's counting today, that makes 5 times they shut my water off because I forgot to mail a check. And 5 times they had to turn it back on again. Well, they never learn. Why, if I ever...
Well, hello there, Molly, darling. And Fibber
Hello, Uncle Dennis.
Hi, Aunt. What's this a friend of ours tells us about seeing you going into a bookie joint?
Now listen, McGee, if Uncle Dennis wants to buy a book, what of it? I think it's nice if he wants to improve his mind.
Oh, it was not buying a book I was, McQuickler. I was just dropping in on an old friend of mine, may his shadow never go small or fat as he is, who has a small business up an alley out of the high-rent district. And the sight of the cops, may they all swallow their whistles and blow out their brains.
Why, Uncle Dennis, what have you got against me?
Yeah, you're always trying to get on the police force yourself.
And why am I not on the force at this moment? I retire under jealous and solitude. Blackball may they have. May their meat coupons blow out the window. And all because when I took the preliminary examination and the more childish set of questions I couldn't answer, not being a child, one of the questions was, how do you stop a runaway horse? And out of my great experience, I answered, put a pin on his nose. Because I've never done it yet that a horse didn't flow to a wall. And where have you been going this fine day now?
Oh, I tell you, we forgot to mail a check for the water bill, Uncle Dennis, and they shut our water off.
Couldn't get enough out of the faucet to wet an airman tank.
Shut the water off, did they, the blackguard? Well, maybe a good thing for you it was.
Why?
Because the very same thing happened to a friend of mine, Rory McGee, which just goes to show that history and radishes repeat themselves. And 'twas McShane himself, who did a wonderful thing for the city of Boston by moving his wife and a finer woman with Cookstone, never breathed breath this last session to this. And all the 12 livers, and I remember they had a dozen children, McShane being a baker at the time, to the town of Elkhart, Indiana.
Good old Elkhart, Indiana. Remember me speaking of Elkhart, Molly? I and Fred Nittany played there many times in my water.
Well, you must have changed the act. You never could have played any place twice but the one I've heard about.
We had some pretty smart stuff, Fred and me.
And the reason I remember old Rory McShane, he was always trying to pick up a couple of bucks. And
I'll never forget the gag I and Fred had where I come out on the stage and says,
yes, they're old Rory McShane. May his future be as rosy as his nose, which don't seem possible at first glance. Go. Nobody was ever much satisfied with just one glance. What were we talking about?
Well, never mind, Uncle Dennis. We'll see you later.
Yeah, we gotta hurry in the house and see if they turn the water on.
Good afternoon, Uncle Dennis.
And the balance of the evening to yourself, McCushla.
Where's my keys? Oh, here they are. Believe me, Molly, if those mugs haven't turned our water on, I'm going to go back down there and tell them a few things.
Hey! Our whole house is tank of deep in water.
Oh, my gosh. We went away and left all the faucets turned on.
Well, go shut them off, dearie.
Okay.
Oh, this is awful.
Hey, wait a minute. Here's the note on the mantel. Look, it's from Alan.
Never mind that now. Shut the faucets off. What does it say?
It says, I got tired of waiting for the water to be turned on, so I went to the movie because all my favorites were playing there. Claude Rains, Ethel Waters, and Donald Duck.
Oh, George.
It's a natural thing with the war tides running in our favor to think we can relax a bit, but that's exactly what we can't afford to do. In war plants, we've got to work even harder to keep production up to the pace of the war. And in a home, we've got to take even better care of our things, because it'll be a long time before industry can get back to peacetime goods. Look around your home tonight and make sure you're doing all you can to practice conservation. When you reach the kitchen, look at your linoleum floor. If it's not regularly protected with a good polish, get some Johnson self-polishing glow coat right away. Glow coat will not only keep that linoleum looking beautiful, colors like new, not only save you hours of work because it takes no rubbing or buffing, but glow coat will actually make your linoleum last 6 to 10 times longer. Protect your floor with Johnson Glow Coat.
Such a mess, McGee. I'll never get it cleaned up.
I just thought of something, Molly.
Well, let's hear it. I can stand a good laugh right now.
Them guys at the water company are so stupid. The joke's on them, after all. I know why I didn't mail that check before.
Why?
Because we haven't got that much money in the bank.
Fine.
Good night.
Good night, all.
This is Harlow Willcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson Wax Finishes for Home and Industry, inviting you all to be with us again next Tuesday night. Good night. This program has reached you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Chicago WNAQ. Chicago WNAQ.
The Johnson Wax Program with Fibber McGee and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax, Johnson's Car New, and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber McGee and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. You may not live in a trailer, but probably you have woodwork that has to be kept clean. So I think you'll be interested in a letter I received several weeks ago, and here it is. I have a lovely 24-foot house trailer with Philippine mahogany interior. This wood is so delicate, water will ruin its texture. So I tried frantically to find some kind of cleaner. Finally, one day I saw this bottle of Johnson's Cream Wax and decided to give it a trial. Results? My walls are shining with so little effort, and very little polish was needed to produce a gleaming luster. This compliment may not be worth anything to S.C. Johnson & Son, but it may be of value to other housewives in your listening public. As for me, I'll always keep a bottle of Johnson's Cream Wax on hand. Well, I might add that Cream Wax does an amazing cleaning job while it polishes. It works miracles on light painted woodwork, leaves a satiny, genuine wax luster, takes very little work. Remember the name, Johnson's Cream Wax, and try some on your furniture and woodwork. The squire of 79 Wistful Vista is not the man to do things by hands. An ordinary fellow might curl up some afternoon with a good book. But our hero goes all the way and curls up with 50 or 60 of them. As we meet Fibber McGee and Molly.
Heavenly days, McGee. What goes on here?
Huh?
Looks like an explosion in the public library.
Well, you know how bad that hall closet needs straightening out.
McGee, don't tell me.
No. I got started too late for that, so I decided to straighten out the bookcase instead. My gosh, I never knew we had so many books.
Well, we wouldn't have if you'd return the ones you borrowed. What's the big book you're sitting on there?
Oh, this one, I don't know. It's a Swedish book. I can't read Swedish.
What's the title?
Glib to Hug.
Glib to Hug? Why, that's not Swedish, silly. That's part of a set of encyclopedias.
Oh, yeah. So it is. Yeah.
Sure.
That's the one I borrowed from Doc Gamble the time I was trying to find out how to make Hassan pepper. Now, let's see. Doggone it, I wish I could... Oh, here it is.
Here's what?
The book I got for my birthday last week from old Fred Nittany of Starved Rock, Illinois. You've heard me speak of Fred.
Well, who hasn't? What was the name of the book he gave you?
Oh, some dull thing about the milk industry in the Solomon Islands.
Is that what it's about?
Sure, look at the title. Guadalcanal Dairy.
No, dearie, that's diary.
Huh? Oh. Hey, here's a swell little book, Molly. 10,000 queer quiz questions. That's the one I got for subscribing to Zombie Comics. Remember?
Yes, and a fascinating book, too.
Oh, yes.
Sample question, how do you get down off an elephant? Sample answer, you don't get down off an elephant, you get down off a duck. You know, the first time I heard that when I choked on my tablet.
Mine, too. I thought it was kind of cute myself. Hey, here's a book I'm glad we got.
What is it?
Ladies and Gentlemen's Complete Etiquette. Got all the answers on how not to make a mug out of yourself. Tells you how to dress for every occasion. Look.
Let me see it. How to dress for the opera.
Yeah.
The lady goes to the opera to see and be seen, and her dress must be adopted with a full realization of the thousands of gaslights which will bring out its merits and defects. Gaslights? Heavenly days, when was this printed?
1877.
1877? Well, it's no good now, dearie. You know, the wasp waist has given way to the hornet hip.
What do you mean it's no good? Etiquette don't change. I contend that this etiquette book is just as good today as it was 65 years ago.
Well, it could be, dearie. But a few new problems have come up since then.
What do you mean?
Like, for instance, if a girl runs away from her husband, who gets custody of the chew coupons?
Look, Molly, it ain't the petty rules. It's the principles. By George, if everybody acted according to etiquette, it'd be a much better world in which to live in.
Well, go ahead, dearie. Start the ball rolling.
I shall.
Well, fine. Now finish picking up those books, please. The house looks like a shambles. I don't...
Forgive me, my dear, but I must ask you to leave the room.
Huh? Why?
It would be unseemly for a lady to remain, as I am about to remove my coat and roll up my sleeves, thus exposing my nude biceps.
Oh!
Come, let me see you to the door.
Now, look here, McGee. If you think for 1 minute that I'm going to put on a bustle and sit around waiting for a stereopticon show...
Hello, Mrs. McGee. Hello, Mr. McGee.
Oh, hello there, Alice.
May I come in?
Pray do, child.
Did you drop something, Mr. McGee?
No. He's just bowing from the waist, Alice. He's suffering from a sudden rush of etiquette.
You slept well, I trust, Miss Alice?
Slept well. Jeepers, my dear, I was out like a cork. The body didn't even twitch for 8 solid hours. And I mean solid, pet. Did I get anything on the Amici from the characters?
Well, if you mean, did you get any phone calls, Alice? Yes, you did. The last one from Douglas.
I sincerely trust, my dear, that you met this young man in a proper way. Formally introduced, I mean, to trustworthy friends or relatives.
Are you kidding, Pops? Why, I've known Doug for simply days. He thinks I'm wonderful. He says I'm the big ripple in his carpool.
And what is the young swain's background? If I may inquire, Miss Alice?
Background? Criminy, Doug's got more background than a scenic railway. And manners, why, when we're at a dance, Doug never says, let's cut one, kid, or what do you say we hurl a hip? He stands up and bows and says, with your kind cooperation, stupid, we'll dumbfound the natives with a mad minuet. Oh, Doug is really an ape, my dears, but smooth.
Well, he sounds charming, all right.
College man, Miss Alice?
Oh, yes. He worked his way through the university playing the drums for parties. He's a Phi Beta Krupa.
It appears, my dear, that the young gentleman's background is impeccable.
Well, who's second?
However, and I trust you will not take the suggestion amiss, perhaps you will persuade the youth that good manners demand he refrain from arousing the household at unseemly hours by means of the telephone.
Oh, you mean tell Doug to lay off beating his gums over the wire at the crack of noon? Oh, but I have told him, Mr. McGee, and I told him when he calls for me never to use the doorbell.
Well, how'll he let you know he's here? Set fire to the front porch?
Oh, no, my dear. He's going to toss a pebble at my window. That way it won't disturb anyone but me.
Delightful, my child, delightful. Tossing a pebble at the lattice window of one's fair lady is an honorable and romantic custom, and I thoroughly approve.
Oh, there's Doug now. And he hit the wrong window. Well, goodbye now.
orchestra and the song of the Volga boatman.
Boy, to think how I've been stumbling through life like an unmanly goose. Now, let's see. If a person wishes to be served more tea or coffee, he should place his spoon in the saucer. Otherwise, let it remain in the cup. So you see, Molly, you're always bawling me out for leaving my spoon in the cup.
Well, that rule was published in 1877, dearie. The rules have changed slightly. Nowadays, if you leave your spoon in your cup, you're liable to lose your social standing, to say nothing of your right eye.
Come, my good spouse. Surely one can't dismiss the fact that good manners in 1877 are still good manners yet in 1943.
Well, feathers, dear. 1877 was a very prissy period. In those days, a dog would lie in the sun in trousers. Pants were considered indelicate.
Well, that may be so, but
And women didn't have figures then either. They had shapes. And what shapes? You know, it took 70 years to go from Goddard to Goddard.
Well, I still maintain...
Although men haven't changed much, except they were timber wolves in those days.
Huh?
They all carried canes.
Still and all, you got to admit...
No, McGee, you can't sell me on 1877. You can have your fancy etiquette if you like. Somebody's the door, dearie. Now, according to the book, who answers it, the lady or the gentleman of the house?
No, gosh, I don't know. How to write a letter of introduction? Never cheat while playing...
Hurry up now.
Proper manner of courtship.
Better hurry, McGee. Why don't you just take a gamble and holler, come in?
No. Might as well do this thing right. Oh, here it is. It says, in the well-organized household, the butler admits callers and receives calling cards on a silver tray.
Well, we haven't got a butler, and would a pie tin do?
Maybe I better run up and put on my tuxedo. We can at least fix it.
Oh, for goodness sakes, come in.
Hello, Molly. Hiya, pal.
Oh, hello, Mr. Willcox.
Good afternoon, my dear fellow. Decent of you to stop by. Your card, please.
My card, chum?
Your card. Unless, of course, my good man, this is a business call, in which case I shall ask you to go around to the tradesmen's entrance.
Well, there's nothing in my arrangement with Racine that says I have to put up with this kind of fanucci. I'll see you later, folks.
No, don't go, Mr. Willcox. This isn't serious. Come on. Do come in.
All right, I will. And if you want my card, here.
Ah, good lad.
Oh, my, a nice-looking card, too, Mr. Willcox. Harlow Willcox, representing S.C. Johnson & Son Incorporated, makers of Johnson's wax finishes for home and industry, Racine, Wisconsin.
Read the other side. Little verse I wrote myself.
All right. Waxing, varnish, enamel, and paint keeps homes from the age-old complaint of dampness and dirt, and it won't do no hurt to mention right here that no wax is better than Johnson's, cause it ain't. Why, that's wonderful, Mr. Wilcox.
I saw you, old kumquat. That last line seems to be dragging a busted garter, wouldn't you say?
Listen, don't criticize me, pal, till you explain that high hat business. I come in here perfectly friendly, and you act like a butler in a B picture.
That's jolly amusing, isn't it, my dear? Butler in the B cinema. I say, old chap, we shall overlook for the nonce the matter of calling cards, shall we not? Step into the drawing room. Perhaps Mrs. McGee will serve tea.
Listen, Mrs. McGee will sit this one out with the boys, dearie. And come off your high horse before you trot under a viaduct.
Yeah. Look, pardon my Omaha accent, Molly, but did little Chubby here just discover he was Anthony Eden's cousin?
I shall tell you, old boy.
No, you won't, McGee. I'll tell him. Well, he's found a book of etiquette, Mr. Willcox, published in 1877. Frankly, I don't see what the English accent has to do with it, but it's probably just his idea of etiquette.
Well, is it good etiquette to give an old pal the high eyebrow when he drops in for a minute?
Oh, come, dear boy, come. Don't mistake a gentlemanly reserve for stuffy formality. After all, the rules of etiquette say, and I quote from page 42, be reserved at all times. A person who makes himself coarsely and offensively familiar will have few friends, and I unquote.
You keep this up and you can count your friends on the fingers of a cat.
Well, he's certainly come a long way from Peoria, hasn't he, Molly?
Indeed he has.
When you first met him, I'll bet... Hey, by the way, how did you first meet him?
Oh, we went to grade school and high school together.
And a delightful association, my dear, if I may say so.
Thank you.
Even though in the American public school system, one is forced to mix with all the classes.
No. I mean, how did you meet? Who introduced you?
Well, nobody, I guess, Mr. Willcox. We just...
You mean you two have never been formally introduced?
Oh, I say, old chap.
Wait a minute.
Huh?
Married all these years and never been properly... Oh, no.
Heavenly days, I never thought...
Now, look here, Junior, if you...
Please. Don't address me as Junior. That is a familiarity I reserve for my friends.
Mr. Willcox,
I regret to say, Mrs. McGee and Mr. McGee, that you have taken advantage of our business association. All these years, you have led me to believe that you two were legally married. And now I discover that you have never even been introduced to each other.
What?
Yeah, but my gosh, that don't...
I'm sorry. Please consider our acquaintanceship terminated. Good day.
Was he... did he... Was that on the level?
Well, it must have been. He was all broken up about it. He could hardly keep a straight face when he went out.
This is terrible. Willcox comes from a nice family, and if he thinks we're not legally married because we've never been interested... Molly, I'm sorry if I done you wrong.
Oh, we can fix that, dearie. We're both of age. We can introduce ourselves to each other.
Maybe we better. I just looked through the book and it don't say what to do in a situation like this. Who introduces whom to whom?
Well, I think the gentleman is always introduced to the lady, so I guess it's up to you, dear.
Okay. You just sit there and I'll pretend I'm just walking past, see?
Shall I drop my handkerchief or something? You know, you've got to have an excuse to speak to me.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Now, remember, you never talk. Well, going through the park one. Oh, pardon me, madam. Is this your handkerchief?
No.
Huh?
Move on, you masher, before I call a policeman.
Oh, gee whiz. Come on, Molly. We're supposed
Do you want me to scream?
Molly, don't do this to me. Gee whiz.
Very well. That is my handkerchief, sir. Thank you for returning it.
Not at all, babe. Not at all. Permit me to knock myself down to you. I am Fibber McGee.
How do you do, I'm sure. And I am Molly Driscoll.
Wow. I'm sure glad we got that taken care of.
Now, look, dearie, I wish you'd forget you ever saw that book of etiquette. After all, what they thought proper in 1877.
Hello there, Molly, darling, and Fibber.
Ah, hello, Uncle Dennis.
Good afternoon, my dear uncle. Won't you have the chair?
That I will not, boy. That I will not. And such unusual politeness I've not seen since my days as a diplomat when I was in Cleveland during the presidential campaign for Washington.
The presidential campaign for Washington.
Oh, what am I saying now? I meant I was in Washington during the campaign for Cleveland. Oh, what a politician I was in those days. The sticky little babies I've kissed, the cigars I've handed out, the ballot boxes I've stuffed, the dirty conniving and double-dealing I've done to give the great American public the right man in office. And why?
What?
Why are you being so polite?
Well, he's got a book of etiquette, Uncle Dennis. He's going to be a gentleman if it kills him, and I can just hear the undertakers rubbing their hands.
Doggone it, I don't know why everybody anybody has to sneer just because a guy tries to be cool. I can't you leave the guy alone. I just want to live in a house by the side of the road, and I don't mean tobacco.
And right you are, lad. Always be a gentleman and avoid the use of profanity, which reminds me of my little brother Brian, who had his mouth washed out with soap so often he was known as Bubble Puss Driscoll. May his soul go marching on as he was shot in the fracas, while innocently engaged in blowing up a bank in Tuscaloosa.
As I seem to remember hearing, Uncle Dennis, yours was a very large family, wasn't it?
It was that. 13 children there was. My father not being a superstitious man, peace be to his bones, such as they were. Most of them haven't been broken at wakes and county fairs, jailbreaks, and other social festivities. And now, if you'll excuse me...
Going out, Uncle Dennis?
That I am.
You might let us know if you'll be back for dinner, huh? Makes you think little courtesies like that are effeminate.
Oh, I thought I'd meant to tell you I'll not be back. I'm invited to a turkey dinner with an old friend.
Ah.
Yes, a former motorman who's about to be made a conductor as they're electrocuting him tomorrow. For the murder of the black-hearted company inspector. May he be made to count red hot nickels for over 7 million years. And my friend, having his choice of the last meal, chose roast turkey on my advice, as I am very fond of the same with sweet potatoes. Good night to you.
The King's Men sing the lullaby of Broadway.
Come along and listen to the lullaby of Broadway. The hip hooray and ballyhoo, the lullaby of Broadway. The rumble of a subway train, the battle of the taxis, the daffy deal to entertain, and Angelos and Maxie. When a Broadway baby says goodnight, it's early in the morning. Manhattan babies don't sleep tight until the dawn. Good night, baby. Good night. Milkman's on his way. Party's over now, hanging over now. It's another day. Gotta get the hay now. The night's full of cheers. Take me home and let me hear the Broadway lullaby. Come along and listen to the lullaby of Broadway. The hi-ho and hullabaloo, the lullaby of Broadway. The rhythm lifts you off the ground. You feel a little bit crazy. You rockify your baby round till everything goes hazy. I will buy you this and that. You will hear a daddy saying, baby comes home to her flat to sleep all day. Good night, baby. Good night, milkman's on his way. Good night, baby. Sleep tight, why not call it a day? Listen, listen to the lullaby of old Broadway.
See, Rosa, we picked this one. A gentleman's wardrobe need not be so large as a lady's, but it should be well supplied with drawers to contain neatly folded pantaloons and waistcoats. Pantaloons. I wonder where I could get a hold of a couple of pairs. Pray enter.
Hi, mister.
Ah, good afternoon, my child. To what do I owe the pleasure of this extremely gratifying visitation?
Oh, I...
Come, child, come. Do not be alarmed at any seeming strangeness. It is merely that I have until now been neglecting the matter of etiquette in my personal contacts.
I guess I don't dig that jive, mister.
Manners, sis, manners. I'm brushing up on my etiquette. You know what etiquette is.
Sure I do, but I doubt if you do.
What do you mean?
Look, I'm a lady, mister.
Huh?
A small one, maybe, but a lady, see? Did you get up when I came in?
Well, no, but I don't...
Did you offer me a chair on account of me being a weaker sex?
No, but I don't see what...
Did you lay aside that nasty old cigar when a lady entered to ask my permission to smoke?
This cigar is one of the finest cigars I ever...
Having invited me in and therefore being technically your guest, did you offer me a cookie or any refreshments whatsoever, mister?
Well, gee whiz, sis, if you wanted a cookie...
Did you or did you not, when I started to leave, precede me to the door, as would any gentleman?
Now, look here, sis.
No, you did not. So don't peddle that etiquette pistachio to me, mister. If you're a gentleman, I'm Eleanor Roosevelt, and I haven't been away from home in 2 years.
The kind of a little twerp that grows up and spends her life writing letters to the voice of the people.
You know, personally, I think she's got something, McGee.
Oh, how long you been standing there, Molly?
I heard most of it. Not that I meant to eavesdrop, but I think the child really... Come in.
Enter, by all means.
Oh, hello, Dr. Gamble.
Hello, Mrs. McGee. Hello, my boy. And a very good day to you, Doctor. Won't you have a chair, sir? And let me take your hat and stick?
My hat and stick? You think I came over here to chalk a billiard cue or something?
Well, McGee's merely trying to be polite, Doctor. He's a gentleman of the old school, holding a one-man reunion.
Just a simple touch of courtesy, Doctor. After all, sir, a man of your age is entitled to a certain measure of respect from younger people.
Well, thank you, my boy. That's very gratifying. After spending the day having people tell me if there wasn't a shortage of physicians, they wouldn't let me treat a rag doll for sawdust poisoning. Yeah, it's been a very trying... What do you mean, a man of my age, you whippersnapper?
Oh, forget it, Doctor. McGee's just overdoing it a little.
Overdoing what?
Come, old fellow. Sir, let us not raise our voices in the presence of a lady. It isn't cricket, you know, sir.
Don't let me cramp your style, boys. Forget I'm here. Or forget I'm a lady.
Will somebody be so good as to tell me what goes on here? Either this dialogue's very bad or I came in the middle of the picture.
Well, McGee has taken up 1877 etiquette, Doctor. Modern manners aren't good enough for him. He thinks Emily was left at the post.
I maintain, Doctor, that the widow...
Oh, so you've suddenly stumbled onto etiquette, have you, McGee?
Well, I have
For 40-odd years, and I do mean odd. You've been fumbling along, breaking crackers in your soup, reading over people's shoulders, inhaling your coffee, wearing brown shoes with your dinner coat, and otherwise making a spectacular boor of yourself. And now you've discovered manners. Why, you hopeless little gutter snipe, you've got less grace than a muscle-bound moose. Oh, is that so?
Now, there's what I call a snappy comeback.
You make one more nasty crack about my manners, and I'll sink my fist so far into your solar plexus, I'll have to wear you like a bracelet.
Listen to the poor folks, Superman. Why, you torpid little tree-toad, if you ever raise a pinky to me, I'll reassemble your silly face till you look like the phantom of your own opera.
Well, now, really, Doctor...
You and how many Marines? You tonto burglar.
Just me, Bird Train.
Is that so?
That's so to 72 decibels.
Okay, step outside, Doctor.
It'll be a pleasure. Use us, Mrs. McGee.
One side,
Now,
Molly.
boys, please, I was...
Yes, word, Mrs. McGee. Come on, get out you go.
After you, Doctor.
After you, McGee.
I'm the host here. After you, Doc.
I insist. The guest is always right.
But the host always goes last.
Not necessarily.
What'll you bet? $5. It's a bet. Hey, Molly, hand me that etiquette book.
Here.
Thank you. Now, let's see.
Shall I make some tea while you boys look it up?
That'll be swell, Molly.
All right, let me know what the decision is, because I...
Ought to be right here somewhere. Page 149.
Here on the miscellaneous rules of etiquette, McGee.
That's it. Am I in your light, Doc?
Oh, not a bit. Not a bit. Quite all right, sir. Interesting book, isn't it?
That's fascinating, Doc. His item here on page 114 will kill you. Says that in a house where there's no bathroom, place an oilcloth on the floor.
What kind of polish should I use on floors made of asphalt tile? Someone asked me that question the other day, and I decided I'd better tell everybody again that the answer is Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat.
For asphalt tile, you should use the same glow coat you use on linoleum floors or on rubber tile. For all of these floor coverings, glow coat gives protection, beauty, and low-cost labor-saving maintenance. To have that protection today,